Welcome, everybody, to episode 57 of the Point in Progress podcast, your favorite cave-dwelling podcast, talking about Werewolf by Night, Steam Decks, and apparently FedEx. Let the process begin. Little housekeeping before we start. We're going to be doing...
I'm just giving you crap. Trust the process.
Apparently. Yeah. I can't wait to talk about FedEx. I don't have any FedEx stories, but you guys probably do. So, but a little housekeeping. We're doing some spooky games on stream. October 12th. I think it's gonna be me, Mario, Fee, and Frank that are jumping into Evil Dead on October 12th. Usually the same time that we stream, so it's gonna be around 6 o'clock Pacific time. Oh, okay. I thought she was saying no.
Just like whoop whoop.
Yeah. Whoop. It's weird when I don't see confetti cannons. You know. These, like, things,
that's a fucking call out.
For anybody, it's a call back. That's what she puts on all of her stuff. Is confetti cannons.
That's right. If you see me do the tweet, it's because I don't put any confetti cannons. If you want to know if Fee did it, there you go. That's your insider. That's your insider. And typos. I'm responsible for typos. I'll accept this responsibility.
Hey, editing is coming soon. All right, editing is coming soon. So let's go. Let's go. I mean, apparently it's for Twitter. What, Twitter Blue? Right? Twitter Blue users right now. They have editing.
Oh, good. Twitter Blue, $2 a month or whatever the shit it is.
Yeah. So random. Also, housekeeping. Today is my birthday. If you guys are listening in the chat or watching in the chat, it's my birthday today. Obviously, when this posts out on Tuesday, it is not going to be my birthday anymore. But I'm turning 34.
Happy birthday.
I am turning 34 today.
Happy birthday to you.
Woo!
It is. It was weird waking up today. It's 34. I was like, oh, okay. Here we go again.
Another rotation around the sun.
Another rotation around the planet. Let's go. All right. Let's jump into what we've been playing. Fee, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
These are two new things. There is no Naraka on here.
Nope.
But what are you excavating, and who is Hob Barrow?
Okay, so I will be talking about the Steam Deck in just a little bit here, but
wait. You didn't introduce any of us, and then don't explain our guests.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad.
Really
oh my god. My brain.
By the way, Frank grew a beard, just so you know.
Frank's with FEMA. Frank's with FEMA right now.
He's been drinking a beer. Okay, give Harv some space here.
I am my brain. All right, Fee, how are you doing? Biffy.
I'm doing great. I feel very confused. But that's not new.
You and I both.
I'm probably doing well.
Harv, I'm gonna give you some slack. We've been in a cave for this entire time. This is the reason why there hasn't been a podcast for a month.
Yeah, we're looking for that.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, we're looking for the right cave. So we're going spelunking for a while. Sly, how you doing?
I'm here. I guess it's been a long day.
I mean, with that judgmental look of Sebastian Stan, I don't know. That's
just glaring at me the wrong way. I don't know what I did wrong.
That's the greatest thing I've ever done.
Mario, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm amped. I haven't talked in like a month, and so I just got to get all of my feelings out, and I only could limit it to a few things. So I doing my best here. I did a lot of stuff this month. I'm only going to talk about a little bit of it.
Okay. All right. And we have a special guest.
Like 5 podcasts in the past month together, Mario and I. So I don't know what he's on.
It's called crack.
But he's also talking about specific things, right? This is gonna be all over the place. We have a special guest today, the one and only FargoBrady, who
hello.
People that don't know, what is like the elevator pitch you would give?
I have a beard, I'm bald, and I like helping sick kids.
There's a lot of those, except for the last part. There's a lot of those, except for that last part.
There's only about 7 of us for the last part.
Yeah. But no, FargoBrady does amazing things for Extra Life. Every year, he is one of the top people for Kind of Funny that streams. And he's doing a stream this coming week on October 15th, 10 a.m. Central, for Kind of Funny and doing for Extra Life. And what's your goal?
I mean, our goal is like 5K. So my goal is to always just do better than the stream did last year. You know, like basically how my whole thing works is up until the stream, we just do whatever we can, but the stream has to keep progressing. Otherwise, I'm just going to tell the guys not to show up anymore. I'm just going to do whatever I want on my own. But we're hoping for about 5,000 during stream this year because last year we did about 38. So we'll see.
Yeah. Last year was kind of crazy. Last year was kind of crazy. And every time, because like I hear your name, because like I just met you recently, right? It's been maybe
I mean, we hot dropped into Fortnite about 5 months ago. This has been BFFs ever since.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that. And it's just like, and I hear you're playing.
I got the
I got
John
nothing.
skin.
I got nothing. I was gonna say you're playing Fortnite, but then that would
got
just be
Darth
like you're
Vader.
playing Fortnite. What your skins? Why are you dropping skins? Why are you name dropping
Darth
skins?
Vader's
all
the
of a
top.
sudden?
It's the top of 100 levels in Fortnite. All right, continue.
Don't have Darth Vader? Fuck you, you know, noob.
Yeah, I know, right? Why you? What, no. But yeah, no. Every time I hear your name, you're one of the producers and Kind of Funny and stuff like that too. So I was just like, and then when I finally met you, I was like, oh, okay, this is who that person is, and this is who he is, and stuff like that. And then yeah, I did also meet you through Extra Life as well. Like, I know you through Extra Life, so seeing the stuff that you do for Extra Life and the stuff that you do for the Kind of Funny team and stuff like that, it is really cool to see because like I feel like when it comes to their streams, there's like a bunch of people, like there's a lot of us that get together and do these streams, and seeing another person part of that community and actually talking to them and having that conversation is really, really nice. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I think like the first time I actually interacted with you was when Fee shared your Extra Life stream or one of them, and then you did like a hot wing challenge. That was the first time I jumped into your stream.
Yeah. That's my
That was $100 well spent.
That is my go-to thing, and I don't like spicy food. I'm not a spicy food person, so that's the thing that I always go to because it's easy. People love seeing streamers in pain for some reason, and
I bought 3 hot chip challenges for this year.
Yeah, there you go. See, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what this dynamic between viewer and streamer is when it comes to these charity streams. They want to see them just hurt.
Yeah.
But
like
yeah,
hostel's a real thing.
Exactly. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna put all of his description, all the stuff in the description of the video. So he's gonna be doing a stream on October 15th, 10 a.m. Central. And what are you planning to play?
A whole bunch of everything. So I mean, you got the staples like Mario Party. It's me and my 4 buddies. They're just coming over, hanging out in my basement. You know, we're gonna do some Mario Party. We'll do some
in the same.
Oh yeah, I got local homies that are coming. Yeah, So if you are in the Kind of Funny group, if you ever heard of Scoom Poof, he lives in Fargo. He's coming here. Then my buddies Robbie, Shane, and Ben. So yeah, we're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm trying to figure out how I can do a Skycam and play like Monopoly or some kind of board game too. So I'm trying to figure out like how we can really change it up and not just do only Halo and like random stuff. So,
oh god, board games. I wish that all of us all lived in the same.
Baby.
I know. I do wish like a lot of us lived in the same place because then we could do like like what Fee is like. She's got all these board games in the back there that we could just like sit down and just play board games on stream. Would be really, really fun to do.
Well, my buddy said that we should do Cards Against Humanity, but I was like, none of us want to get canceled, and I don't want my YouTube channel to get tossed. So I'm like, nope, we're just not going to do Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, I don't know how it is on YouTube, but on Twitch, it's one of the games that you can't play on stream. I think it's TOS to play. So
because half the cards will get you thrown off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Now that we get the intros, I'm sorry that I never got the intros before.
It's okay. It's your birthday.
All right.
It's been late. We got you.
Fee, tell me about the excavation of Hobbs' Barrow.
What cave did you find him in?
Yeah, what cave? Is he still alive?
Okay, so the name is the excavation of Hobbs Borough.
Borough. Sorry.
Okay.
It's a long A.
Yes, it's
Got
a
it.
long A. So I
So very Canadian of you.
So I will be talking about the Steam Deck later on. I really wanted a game and I was looking at the store and this was the first thing that came up and I'm like, you know what? This is a Fias game. It's a point and click mystery. They called a folk horror game. And I was just like, what the fuck is folk horror? Found out what that was pretty quickly. So it's pretty good. And by pretty good, I mean this was exactly what I wanted. And I was just like, okay, it's October 1st. I need the spooky kind of and this was right up my alley. I was very excited about it. It is developed. The developers are Cloak and Dagger. The publishers are
Great
what
show.
yeah, I know. Cloak and great show. I was like very confused when I first heard it. I'm like, wait a second, isn't there like I thought I knew them. I knew the
Rip ABC Family.
rip ABC Family. Sad face. A single tear. Yeah. They're the publishers is Wadget Eyes Games, which also does a bunch of point and clicks. And it's about a excavator who is been going to different boroughs around England, which is usually essentially a burial site. So she's just like, hey, I want to go to this area and dig this up. I know Harv's very concerned. So she goes to this borough and she starts finding out things that have happened in this area. So it's and specifically I'm looking at this. So Barrow is a mound used only in the names of the hills in England, a large mound of earth or stone which remains of the dead. So usually she finds pots, maybe some like gold, maybe some like items. And the townspeople seem a little bit weird about this. Some people know about it. Some people are like, don't fucking go and touch that. And then everyone's just like kind of weary about it. And so you start finding out what happened. And it's not only this specific time, there's actually an event that happened 25 years earlier. So there's a bunch of things that have been going on. And I don't want to spoil it because there's some crazy shit that happens from the get-go. So would highly recommend it if you are a huge if you're a fan of point and click adventures, if you're looking for a very honestly beautiful in a way pixel art game, and also looking for something like fall season horror, would highly recommend it. All voice acted, by the way. Learn something, Square Enix. Voice act the entire thing, please. That's a whole other thing. But no, really well done. Everything's phenomenally. I think it's really great. Would definitely highly recommend it. Actually, the voice actress from it is I'll have to look her up anyway. I forget. There was like some sort of correlation to another game. I'm like, oh man, that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's Hobbsboro. It's essentially like probably 1910s, 1920. I would say probably earlier than that in England. But yeah, it's just like a small town. Kind of gives a little bit of Hot Fuzz vibes, but like Hot Fuzz is definitely not like murderous, everyone wants to come and attack you kind of vibe. But if you haven't seen Hot Fuzz, it's been 12 years. Don't come at me.
It's like,
I had
why are you
to-
spoiling
I had
Hot
to-
Fuzz out of nowhere.
Gosh.
I had to check.
You Shaun of the Dead. Watch out.
I had to check the difference between burrows and barrows.
Yeah.
The noun that says the noun's the difference between burrows and barrows is that burrows is while barrows is. Fuck does that
Burrows
mean?
barrel, but barrels don't burrow.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
Like
Oh.
every rectangle is a square, but not every square is a rectangle.
True.
I guess, yeah. No, that's all right. English is hard. Okay.
Yeah. No, I was
Um,
just gonna say the voice actress for the main character also voices Calliope in the Sandman series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is I was just like, this girl sounds familiar. And then I was just like, oh, I listened to this on a platform which I will not say the name of, but it's really great.
Thank you.
No, it's I would very much recommend it.
You've also been jumping into Valheim.
Yes, I have. I played that last night. It is kind of crazy. So it has almost like a Don't Starve vibe where you start off quite literally being carried by a massive hawk into this land, and they'll tell you like, hey, if you want to pass on to Valhalla, you have to kill these corrupted beasts. And you're like, okay, cool. And so you have to scavenge your way, create different items, build from the land, make spears and axes to cut down wood. We built a base yesterday, which was pretty entertaining. Everything's out to essentially kill you, except sometimes not really. And sometimes the deer just like give up and they're just like, I'm just going to stand here because I know you're going to kill me anyway. So it's just really interesting gameplay. It does also kind of have the format of, I guess, Don't Starve, but also what is it? Minecraft, because if you are outside in the middle of the night, not only is it going the added feature of it's cold outside, so you need to get near a fire, but then just random skeletons are like, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck your shit up," and you're just like, "Please don't do that, skeleton." And it's just like, not only I'm gonna hit you once, but I'm actually just gonna hit you once, and you're gonna die for no reason. Sometimes it's like they will crit and they will kill you. But if we found out if both people die, you don't actually the game doesn't end. You just both die and you go back to your main area. But it's weird.
It
It's
seems like it got critical acclaim when it first
Yeah.
came out. Like this game
Mhm.
blew the f up when it first came out.
yeah.
And now seeing it, like I feel like because it's a small development team, I think there's like maybe like 12 people on the development team or something like that. Like it's a
Yeah.
very very small team. Is it like because you play a lot of survival games, right? Like I feel like you play like Don't Starve, and you've played like a lot of like those kind of games before. Is this like one? Like is this like one of like the really really good ones? You'd say because I don't play these kind of games. This is not my kind of
I
thing.
would honestly say out of all of us, I would say probably Frank is probably our like resident expert of survival games. As someone who I would say is an intermediate, also at the same time, I just like I remember I was gonna say don't play too many survival games, but I forced all of you to play Don't Starve together with me. So that's kind of a lie.
You did do
Um,
that.
I did that. I made everyone I knew was just like, "Do you have a copy? I will buy you Don't Starve together so we can play it together." I
have you have you
That's the most
have you heard of
snowbike
our
Mike shit ever.
yeah? Have you ever heard of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Yeah, I've done
Let me
that.
tell you.
What? I've done that with like some DBD stuff. I've also done that definitely with Tabletop Simulator and Don't Starve
You done
together.
that with me with the Inscription, and therefore
That's true.
it's one of my
Yeah,
favorite
Inscription.
games
Yeah.
ever.
Oh
So-
yeah,
I mean,
I
I did that with friends for Overwatch too. I tried to get them into it, and that lasted about 3 days. So I mean, I did it too.
They got me into Overwatch as well.
Yeah, I did it with Avengers, and no one's loaded up.
Yeah,
yet.
nobody loaded
it up.
That's
at
where
all.
it failed. That's
I
where it
had
failed.
a blast with Avengers.
Thank
I'm
you.
just I'm just gonna
That's
say no. I'm never gonna play that game.
that's
No,
where it all.
Well, let's go
went
turn
down.
Anthem on, everybody.
where Mario's like, guys, I will play. Let's play Avengers. I'll buy you guys the copies. Crickets. We're like, no, we can't do
Avengers
that.
has one of the best characterizations of Hulk I've ever seen.
Yeah, single player.
And I stand by that. I
Hey.
really enjoyed the stories in
My son loves playing
in
Avengers, like
The
superheroes. He loves it.
gameplay,
Yeah.
you just gotta go with it. Like you just gotta embrace the fact that it's not great, but the storytelling is very good.
I played the beta for. Sorry, we're getting off a tangent off of Valheim, but like I played the beta for Avengers, and I was like, oh man, I'm really really excited. But then I start more play. The more that I played the beta, the more I was like, I can't. This is not a game that I'm gonna play. This is not gonna be a game that I play. But I've heard the story is really really good because like the intro of the story, what they showed in the beta was really awesome. With Kamala Khan and then her joining like the Avengers Initiative and stuff like that was really really cool. Anyways, Valheim.
Valheim. I have to play more to say if it is going to be like a really good survival game. Right now I don't feel like overburdened and overwhelmed because I do know some survival games are just like, "Oh, it's night 10, let me fuck your shit up and just destroy everything in everyone's path." As we all knew when we were playing Don't Starve together. That is kind of the premise. On night 10, there is a massive troll that will fuck everyone's shit up and destroy your entire place.
Sets
Mind
their
you,
alarm at 3:30 in the morning.
exactly. You're just like, I'm going to die here. And this one, it seems like it has kind of like a path, and you kind of know where you're going because you do have a bird guide that keeps on coming and says, "Well met," and then you're just like, "Okay, cool," and then it tells you like something that you've completed or the next steps that you need to take. So we finished like last night. We ended after we killed the first kind of big baddie, which was an ethereal deer like god who like had turned corrupt. And so then we killed it, took its head, and then mounted it onto a stone to say like don't fuck with us, and we got bonuses for it. So that's pretty nice. Thank you for the jump bonus, I guess. In stamina, I can run around a little bit faster, and I don't slow down as fast as I did beforehand. Kind of weird. I will be honest. This sounds very silly. I feel incredibly uncomfortable if I have to play a game where I am attacking animals. I don't care. Like, if I have to attack a person, like, by all means, I will take that spear and smash you across the face and kill you. But when it comes to animal, I like it's really sad hearing like a pig squeal in my ear
That's what
or
I
like a
that
deer
sound.
like crying, where it's just like
pro-human murder, anti-animal killing.
So you will go straight from Negan to PETA in like 2 seconds then.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm more like John Wick. I will kill everybody if you
Okay.
fuck with my pet. Or like in this case, there's a deer and it's just like, and I'm like, no, I don't want to kill you, but I need your hides to be able to actually continue with this game, or I'm gonna get it killed. Like they keep on telling me that the Black Forest is a terrible place to go, but I need to go there and I need protection, and to get protection, I need deer hide because I have no other options. And I just
Your
feel
hide will
bad.
be used for the greater good.
Exactly. And I'm like, this is really sad. So I
I know,
always,
I knew what you were doing.
I just like I've always felt awkward about that, especially if it has like very realistic animal sounds, and it does. And so it makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. So we'll see how much farther I get in it.
That's how it was
yeah.
for me with like The Last of Us Part 2 when you had to kill the dogs.
What?
And, like went for those parts. Yeah.
You don't have to kill the dogs. The dogs
don't-
are optional, but
Yeah, but they kill you.
They
so you
kill
kind of
you.
like, yeah, you kind of have to. All right, they're gonna
you
be
can,
chasing
I
you for a
walk
while.
past them. You can walk past them.
Okay, they are vicious dogs that will destroy your health points.
Of course.
No,
They
I'm
will
not gonna
destroy
play
your
this
health points.
game.
I
I'm
think
not
you just
gonna
walk
play
right
this
now.
game.
Oh,
I mean,
well,
yeah, you
you shouldn't play this game. Actually, now that I remember something, you should not play this game.
Oh, with the horse. Yeah.
It is a story bit that you don't want to. No, not even that. Not
Oh,
even
not
that.
the horse.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, there's also There's
Yeah,
another.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anyways, Last of Us 2 is a good game. I just want
It's
to
a
say
great
it's
game.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, either
yeah.
way, I'm not gonna play that game now. But yeah, I know.
But apparently
I
you could run away, so you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah,
apparently I can run away.
cutscenes.
Fantastic. I still have to play the first one, even though someone spoiled it for me. But no, I think Valheim. We'll see. I'll give a status update once I've played a little bit more. And by next week, I will have finished the excavation of Hobbs Burrow. Even though I'm pretty sure someone on YouTube, whoever you are, and you know who you are, you fucking suck because they put a screen clip of I think what is going to happen in the end of the game, and I'm like, why would you do this? Why would you take a screen grab of a spoiler? Good job. As like seriously, like I don't understand like something that may have been in the trailer. Like there's some crazy shit that happens in the trailer. If you go and watch that now, yeah, I'm sorry. Because there's some crazy shit. For example, and I'm going to say this because it is in the trailer, there is a man that you find on the side of the road who is tied up and has a bunch of flowers and branches coming out of around his neck because he's pinned there and he's screaming because he's like, why am I here? So yeah, that's an introduction to what the kind of situations happen in that game, but that's in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just saying.
See, when you said folk horror, I thought like Midsummer, and that you just explained Midsummer basically right there.
Yeah, I would love a Midsummer game. That's pretty great. It has some. It has
I've
kind
never
of that
seen
element.
Midsummer, so I have never seen this
Harv.
movie.
Harv.
A choice-based Midsummer-based
watched-
game. Oh,
I watched that movie after a breakup.
So, my question to you: were you feeling a little flowery, or were you feeling a little like hairy after that one, Mario?
I was smiling at the end of the movie. I'm not gonna lie, it was cathartic.
Okay.
he skinned
so
the
I know-
fool.
Oh, we know exactly where you thought you were at the end of that film. So we'll leave it at that. That's a pretty. Also, I'm realizing both of them are kind of folk, like horror, like horror kind of base, because Valheim is you're dead and you're killing things, and then the excavation of Hobbs Burrow is also about dead people and the afterlife and all sorts of crazy shit happening. So I apparently had a theme this week.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Very, very
Mine
cave.
was death.
Yeah, a lot of
You need to talk
deaths
to
in
somebody,
some
Fee.
caves.
Pardon?
Do we need to talk to somebody? Turn off the recording. We just need a group sesh here.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's just like
This is a phase.
Yeah, why not? I'm good. I'm just like this week's theme is death and
October.
folklore.
That
you-
sounded very convincing.
I don't know why you just reminded me of something. I have to add something to the doc. I'm just gonna change something out. Don't worry, just continue.
Okay,
Oh.
well, I'm gonna go down the list.
He's like, have
And
her
talk to-
committed. Oh,
talk to Brady. You've been playing. All right, you've been jumping into some stuff
Yep.
that I'm curious about. There's two things I'm very, very curious about. Well, obviously, one, Warzone is how are you enjoying Warzone? Because I know Warzone 2 is going to be coming out in November.
I mean, we're teetering on the brink here. It's basically just the sweatiest of the sweat people. It's cheaters, it's hackers. It is like the people that have never touched grass in their life, level 1000, that are just, we're gonna land at the same place, and I'm gonna teabag you after I shoot you once, and like that's all. It's just those kinds of people.
yeah,
But I mean, in about what is it, 6 weeks or so? I think it's the end of November. Warzone 2 comes out because
November 23rd or something like that. I think it is.
yeah, because in 3 weeks, Modern Warfare 2 comes out, which I am super hyped for. So that'll be really fun.
Yeah. It's crazy to see Call of Duty back in this kind of spotlight because like
Mhm.
again, as normal consumers, I feel like Call of Duty never left, right? If you're a normal person that just goes to the store and just buys Call of Duty, it still sells millions and millions and millions of copies. But as people that are like washed to the gaming sphere and stuff are like, oh man, is Call of Duty like kind of losing it a little bit? They're kind of losing it. But then when you
They
see
lose it
Modern
every
Warfare-
time they go into World War II.
yeah, exactly. Now they're going back into Modern Warfare. I think they're going to be back again, and then apparently the next one's called it's Advanced Warfare too.
Which
so
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if that was the Jon Snow one or if that was the Kevin
That was
Spacey
the Kevin
one. One of the two.
Spacey, Troy Baker
that the-
one.
was
Yep.
that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one with like the mech, not the mechs, the jump
The
suits and
suits.
shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The, Disco
Which
Elysium
I'm
suit.
fine with a good movement. I'm fine with that. It's just when you start incorporating things that just don't feel good. Like, so if you're talking about, hey, we're gonna have this AK-47 from 2020 in the same vein as like this SMG from 1937, like it doesn't feel right. Like that's kind of a weird
Plus,
momentum.
aesthetically, it doesn't look good either, right? Like it just
No.
it's so weird because like
No.
you're in a Caldera map, which is like a 2020 map, and then you have like weapons that are from like 1935.
Yeah, it's terrible, and they should not have done that.
Yeah. But the other two, okay, so the other two, I want to talk about
Yes.
Destiny 2.
Yep.
I played Destiny 2 for the first time about a year ago. That was the first time I jumped into it. The onboarding in that game is fucking terrible. It is so bad that
Yeah,
I
it is.
got to the end area and then I just kind of stopped after that. You jump. I'm guessing you've jumped back into Destiny 2.
Oh, I've been pretty deep. Yeah, every time like a new season comes out, like you'll see me on there for the first like 2 or 3 months. Like usually like on my channel, what I just do is like the way, hey, what's like the best weapon to use for this week's Nightfall? Because every week is different. It's like every week has a different elemental burn, so it does 50% more damage. This does this does that. So like that's usually what I try and do. But between the Nightfalls and actually about 3 days ago, as of recording, Grandmaster came out. And I'm not even able to do it because I'm not high enough power level. So I know kind of funny ain't going to be doing it for about 3 more months because like that's my biggest gripe with Destiny 2. It's like if you're playing World of Warcraft, if you're playing anything that has like item levels and that kind of thing, Destiny 2 is not a game where you can actually get carried by your friends to catch up to them because as soon as you hit like a soft cap, basically, hey, you're still like 3 or 4 weeks behind. That's my biggest gripe with Destiny 2 is like, okay, you released like the biggest part outside of a raid that you can do, but 90% of your player base can't do it because we didn't play it for 8 hours a day since the new season launched.
Yeah, it kind of punishes you for not playing in a way, right? This is one of the things that I like going back to like Final Fantasy 14 is one of the reasons why I like that game is because it doesn't punish you if you don't play. As long as you do like one of your daily stuff, you're good to go. And if you leave for like an extended period of time, leave for like 8 months or to a year, you come back, the catch up mechanics are there, you grab all the gear, you're done. That's it. Then you can start raiding again. Because raiding in Final Fantasy isn't about the gear, it's more about the fights themselves.
Yeah, which is just something D2 just doesn't have. There's no catch up mechanic whatsoever. Like pinnacles are great, you can do some powerfuls, but legitimately, unless you're getting carried multiple times a day through like the raid or something, you're not gonna be able to get to that light level that actually catches you up to most of your friends or anything like that. It's just kind of dumb to me how they kind of implemented that.
You're muted, Mario.
God damn. Well, thank you. It's the kind of reason why I stay away from these kind of games. That's why I didn't jump into Final Fantasy with everybody. Same reason why I'm not getting back into Destiny 2, even though someone was talking about it not that long ago, and I was thinking about it, but I'm not going to do it. Just the catch up grind to it. It's just not my lifestyle anymore, to the point where it just doesn't interest me. I think that's why I always revert back to like a Fortnite or something, because the goal is just getting the 100 levels and then it resets, right? And then I obtain those things. So I think that to me is just more adherent to some lifestyles, especially the older that we get. But it's cool that there's some people jumping in like you, man. Still holding it out there.
Yeah, and I mean that still kind of like tails back to like Warzone and how Modern Warfare 2 is going to go out, because it's not like the whole like, hey, we have like 30 guns you need to level to 70 with like 100 attachments apiece at this point. How Modern Warfare 2 is going to go is you level like a gun and it gives you like most of the attachments, and then like, hey, if you use it in this certain way, you get a couple more. So it's like the catch-up mechanics and the leveling of the weapons is going to be so much better in the new one, and it's going to be way more user friendly than what the past has been.
I don't want to go into a map or go into multiplayer and go level my ACR for like fucking like 7 hours, because then it's gonna be like the meta because everybody's using an ACR, right? I don't want to do that anymore because that was painful to do.
And that's the biggest thing too. Like, you know, the whole Call of Duty meta. You know, okay, what 2 guns are going to kill the fastest in this loadout in Rebirth or whatever it's going to be? And if they nerf one gun, hey, if you didn't level the next meta gun, you're borked. Like, it's not going to work. At least in Modern Warfare 2, how they're doing it is there's like 5 or 6 key guns that have like 4 different variants, and then you just level them as like a talent tree basically. And then if they nerf one, the other one isn't affected as much, so you can still use that weapon a different way.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah, I'm excited for the new expansion for Destiny. I think it's Lightfall, right?
Lightfall, very cyberpunk looking.
Yeah. When I saw the commercial for it at one of the events, I forgot which one it was. I think it was the Jeff Keighley one.
Yeah, it was.
Right? It was the Jeff Keighley one, and Gamescom. When I saw it, I was like, what is this game? This game looks so colorful. And they said Destiny 2. I was like, wait, what? Nah.
Yeah, which isn't their color palette. It is very just gray and dark blues. Like, that's all it is.
But seeing that, and then they said they're also going to revamp their onboarding process now for new players as well. So I'm excited for that because I want to experience the game from start to finish. Like, I want to start a new character and then go from there and then go right to the end. Because when I played last time, I think it was with Frank when I played it, he was just telling me where to go because I was like, I have no idea where the hell I'm going half the time. I gotta open up this map. I gotta open up that map. I gotta talk to this NPC. The game doesn't tell you to talk to these people. It's just like, oh yeah, if you want to go to the next party, you have to go talk to this person.
The menu and the navigation is like one of my biggest gripes. Is like, even as somebody who has played it pretty religiously for like the past like year and a half, like for every time an expansion launches, unless I watch like 30 YouTube videos, I don't know exactly what the seasonal artifact needs to be done, what the seasonal quest line is, all that kind of shit, because you literally don't know unless the game tells you explicitly, because it's so hidden. Like, oh hey, do this, but you have to go 3 menus this way, and it's not that great.
We as a Final Fantasy veteran, we do that a lot with like A Realm Reborn, when we went through like A Realm Reborn and stuff like that, and then, like, that's the first game, that's the base game for Final Fantasy. We're like, oh, it gets so much better after that. It's so much better after that. But people that have never played Final Fantasy 14, they play Realm Reborn, they're like, Realm Reborn was really good. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And then I have to remember it's different. It's different now because they've revamped the entire process of how A Realm Reborn was and how it first began and stuff like that, right? They've done so many changes to it.
Yeah, that's like playing vanilla WoW and then trying to come in now as a fresh number 1 or level 1. So,
oh man, I played WoW Classic. That game was interesting. Because that was the first time
Wrath Classic just came out last week, and that is easily my favorite gaming memories is Wrath Classic or Wrath.
That's Fees as well. Yeah.
That is my bread and butter. Yeah.
Holy Paladin and Wrath of the Lich King. Oh my gosh.
I was a troll shaman because my friends told me I couldn't play. Like, we originally tried to play Night Elves. Was told instantaneously that was not okay, and that we had to choose between orcs and trolls because our friends didn't want to go anywhere else. And they're like, I'm an Orgrimmar, so you have to be either a troll or a orc. And so that's why I chose. Yeah. But no,
in the end, don't you just all come back together anyways, though?
No.
In the story, but they didn't put a cross faction until like Dragonflight, basically.
Oh, so Night Elves aren't the same faction as the. Okay, gotcha.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. They are part of the Alliance, and then the orcs and trolls are part of the Horde.
Yeah.
For the Horde, yeah.
Sly, do you know what these dorks are saying? I have no idea what they're talking about.
No fucking
I
clue.
listen to you talk about Fortnite way too much, Mario, and I talk about World of Warcraft for like 2 seconds.
Well, we're gonna jump into World of Warcraft here. We're gonna jump into World of
Okay.
Warcraft
Oh, there's more.
because Dragonflight beta is happening right now, and I don't know if Dragonflight got its release date yet, like an actual
28th
official
of
release.
November. Yep.
That is so fucking soon. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is.
How you enjoying the beta so far?
So this is my first beta I've ever been invited to, and I'm loving it. The fact that it's the polar opposite of what Shadowlands, the current WoW iteration, is what exactly it needed. Because I think it was on Twitter or something like that. Somebody like hypercut like the first 2 hours of Shadowlands versus the first 2 hours of Dragonflight, and it's literally you walking through the maw, which is basically like WoW hell, versus you riding through a dragon and being like never-ending story through a whole bunch of stuff. It's so like such a polar opposite. It is. I'm so excited for Dragonflight, especially since they brought back talent trees and it's gonna be fun. And the fact that I've already picked my main about 4 days into having my beta key, oh, I'm set. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So full disclosure, I've only played classic WoW. That's the only thing I've played. I got to max level. I think I did. No, I didn't even do the raid. I didn't even do what's the first raid called?
BlackRock
It was in a volcano area.
with Ragnaros, yeah.
Called
Yeah,
Leroy
Ragnaros.
Jenkins.
Whatever that
Yeah,
whole
that
thing
one.
was. But
The big fire guy.
Sure. Yeah, sure. But I've heard like the whole talent tree stuff is like a big addition or back, like they brought it back because a lot of people thought it was like, I think it was like people got pigeonholed into a lot of like roles and stuff like that. And now you have a little bit
because
more
like
leeway.
how talent trees basically worked was, hey, there was like seven or 8 levels and you had 3 choices per level, and 90% of the time you basically pick somebody based on their item level, because like, hey, you have a little bit more attack power but you're running the exact same spec as this guy, as opposed to, okay, you're built for more AoE, this guy's gonna be more on boss damage. Like you can actually pick and choose a lot more of what you're doing, as opposed to like, okay, I went to Icy Veins, I picked the meta build, and oh, my gear level isn't high enough, so now I'm not going to get picked for anything.
Yeah. Man,
I
I
was-
can't even think about
oh.
playing. Sorry, I was gonna.
No,
gonna say
go.
I
You go.
I just can't imagine trying to play that game without talent trees. Because when I
Mhm.
played, because it was Wrath of the Lich King, then into Cataclysm, and then I stopped mid. Like, I think during the first raid of Mist of Pandaria, because I was so freaking burnt out after Cataclysm and the shit show that was. So so it's very odd to me because I remember having to like go to Icy Veins, try to figure out like, okay, which specific talent tray I need to go through, because I had at one point, I think I was juggling about 5 different characters at once. And so I was like, okay, had like my shaman, I had my paladin, I had my dark my goodness, my dark knight. I had like all these other like characters that I had like either on my main raid and then my like alt raids, depending. That trying to the idea of like not having a teletrain is kind of weird. As someone who used to have to play like half specs because I was like a DPS tank druid, and if you understand the pain of a have to like essentially you're spec'd for both and you're told like midway through you have to switch and you have to be very smart about it, or people yell at you because then people will be like, I saw that you weren't you were not a bear, you were a cat, what the fuck? And then I'm just
Yeah,
like,
and how
okay.
dare you not have the exact 20 pieces of gear you need to be a bear? So yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
like that was my biggest gripe too with Shadowlands. Is it wasn't very alt friendly. It wasn't alt spec friendly. Like you legitimately did not have an option if you wanted to main something, because they introduced all the legendaries and that kind of a thing where you're gonna have this awesome power. But if you want to get an awesome power for another spec, hey, you have to do this like for 3 weeks again to do the exact same thing. Oh, but if you want to get this awesome power even stronger, you got to grind for about 2 more weeks to get this gear level to put that power into. And it was just a clusterfuck. And I hated Shadowlands. Yeah, the grind, like same reason with Destiny, like the grind eventually catches up with you. So unless you're making it worth my while, like alt friendly or alt spec friendly, where I can actually just move things around as how I want to play it that week, then it's just, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I've enjoyed my time with Final Fantasy. Is like I log in once every like 4 days now, 3 days. I do the raid. I we have a fun time with the 8 of us. We kill the bosses, and then I log out, and I'm like, all right, I don't need to do anything. I literally don't need to do anything else because I'm top of my gear. I have every gear that I need for my character. If I ever want to like grind on another job, obviously everything is on one character in that game, so you don't have multiple characters. So if I ever want to do another job, I can just do some random dungeons and stuff like that, grab gear and that kind of type thing. So
Yeah, because the gear you get is like based on your job class. Like this will always work for a tank. This will always work for a DPS or rage or something like that. That shit doesn't happen in World of War, especially in Shadowlands. Like it was literally like the biggest time sink that you could have possibly had, and it was just not worth it. And it seems like they've actually started to listen to their customer base, which is a crazy business model. So yeah, Dragonflight's gonna be fun.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Like all these things people have been saying for about 7 years. Oh, hey, we're gonna start doing this. I think they might like it.
Heck yeah. All right, Mario, I'm gonna jump to you. Metal Hellsinger. This is the rhythm-based metal game.
We need Frank here for this. This is the first time I get to talk about some boomer shooters. Because that's essentially Frank's MO. He just loves talking about Doom Eternal specifically. Yeah.
When did Doom becomes a boomer shooter?
Because it's old and it's a shooter. Basically, that's the description of that term, which Frank loves saying. So this is me, making a segment just for Frank. So yeah, I've actually I got to play 2, so I'm gonna do both.
I'll talk to FEMA and I'll send it back.
Let FEMA know. I'm actually gonna talk about 2 boomer shooters. I'm actually talking about Metal Hellsinger and Proteus. I'm just gonna put them both basically in the same thing. Boomer shooters are fun. They're essentially just take the concept of Doom and then put your own little spin on it. And both Metal Hellsinger and Proteus do a really great job of that. To focus on Metal Hellsinger, yeah, you're right. It's a rhythm-based Doom game where basically the beat of the song is dictated by the rhythms on your guns. And every time that you land a hit, it adds to the beat. And if you get a multiplier every time you kill a monster, or at least every time you hit on the beat, once you reach 16 multiplier, that's when the lyrics kick in. And so it gets to an awesome level of like you're hearing the drums, you're hearing this, you're hearing the guitars. But then the more you stack up your meter, that's when like all hell breaks loose and like all these like famous metal singers start like wailing out their songs. And it's
so if you don't get to 16, you will only hear
just the general drums.
Instrumental.
Just the instrumentals essentially. And when you hit 8, that's when you hit guitars. I'm not sure, but basically it's not until you hit 16 is when you get the lyrics. And that's when you're at full capacity of just like blasting away. So yeah, the song basically fades in and out of those segments when you get out of the 16-time multiplier. But there are also items on the field that give you boosts. So if you're at 8 and you touch that, it immediately jumps you up to 16. And then you just have to just keep the rhythm to keep the
maintain
going.
it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. You get different items, of course. There's the traditional shotguns, there's the traditional dual pistols. They're sort of like the best way to describe them is like that character from Overwatch. I forgot his new name. I know his old name, but the cowboy.
Oh, you're talking about Cassidy.
Cassidy, thank you. Essentially, it's like a pea shooter. It's like, but you can do them in a certain way that like makes it do like sort of like a tapping of the drums or something like that. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It has a really cool story. It actually follows this female demon who gets her voice taken away by basically Satan, and you're basically going through the different realms of hell to retain your voice back. And it's a really cool. It's told by the point of view of this being that's with you on the journey, and it's sort of like telling her story. And it's voiced by Matthew Mercer, who it was recently in another thing I watched. He was in Cyberpunk Edgerunners. And you know him from Critical Role and all these wonderful things that he's been a part of. But he does a really great job of just playing that like westerny character, and so he adds, which is actually I think the voice of McCree Cassidy, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it actually adds on to that little like flavor to it. I'm having a good time with the game. I have to make more progress. It's on Game Pass right now, so you can definitely check it out. The other game on that spectrum is Proteus. It's another one of those indie games where it's formatted like you're playing it on the old school like PCs and stuff like that, but the way that it's like jittery with the guns, even though the world is 3D, it's a weird way to describe it. But it's almost like you're playing like Doom and Doom 64 at the same time is the best way to describe how it looks. And it's fun. It has all the same markings of all the stuff that you would love from Doom, while putting its own little spin on guns and certain things like that. So these are games that are both available right now on Game Pass on PC and also on the console. So I recommend them. If you having a craving for just a simple, I need to just not think about anything and just blast away, these are your perfect games to check out. So want to at least bring out the boomer shooter for Frank in this weekend.
In the memory of Frank.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Hope
In
FEMA's doing well.
memoriam.
Yeah. Do you want to, we'll go to, how about this? We'll go to that, like you're highlighting, and then we'll do the top part.
Yes, that was my plan. So Sly, you've been playing so much Cats and Soup. There's a lot
And
of
it's
cats
all
and soup.
painful.
Are the cats in the soup, or are the cats drinking the
Cats
soup?
are making soup.
Oh, they're making soup. Okay.
Yeah. So, if you're a long time viewer, a while back I was like, "There's this game I randomly found on my phone," and Fee was like, "Yeah, I talked about that like a year ago or whatever." And it's this game. It's Cats and Soup. It's a mobile game. You would have cats and they're making soup, and there's a bunch of different types of soup you can make. Um, and I have been sinking so much time into this game. It's just like so chill and relaxing, and you're just like collecting money to, build more different types of vegetable chopping stations so that you can make different types of soup. And you can make like smoothies, and I just got barbecue, so now I'm making stir fry.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've just played like an egregious amount of Cats and Soup this week.
Sounds like Overcooked, but you actually get to build your restaurant.
And like no time limits. It's like super chill, cozy, like just. And they recently added a new feature called the Cat Tower. I have no idea how it works. I haven't looked into it at all, but it's there and it's new and exciting. But yeah, it's just been my like comfort, like everything sucks and I just want to watch some cats make some soup, and it's great.
Yeah, Overwatch is the complete opposite of that. That is not a cozy game. That is a stressful game. Okay, that's a stressful game, especially when you're trying to make hot dogs.
You're muted, Fee.
You're muted.
I realize that. No, I was just gonna say it's a really good game. I played it. I like it gives me a. If you ever heard of the game, Neko Itsume, which is a video like a
Also, cat game.
also a cat game that I used to play. That if shocker, you like start off with a house. It's a deck. And it's just like they say like, oh, put out things, cats come to your home, and you're like, okay, cute. So then you just like put a ball outside, and then you leave the game, and then you come back a few hours later, and then there's a cat playing with the ball, and then you're like, oh my god, I made a friend. And so then you take a photo because obviously you have to. And then you just like the more cats that come over, they give you gifts, and the more gifts you get, the more items you can get. It's the same kind of concept.
Cats take over your house and you're homeless afterwards.
Yeah,
And then you get to
essentially.
expand your porch, and then you get more cat friends. It's a great
Exactly.
time.
Yeah, and I used to play it in actually I was using it for a while to learn Japanese, to like read katakana and hiragana. So they actually have it in like basic hiragana and katakana. So it's like you could see like, okay, I could switch between like English and Japanese to see like, okay, this is the cat's name in English, this is what it is in Japanese. Highly recommend it. But yeah, it's a really cute game. Would highly recommend. Yeah, and I'm now looking at photos of it. It does kind of seem like they take over your house, and it's gonna get scary.
Is end up eating you one day?
God,
No,
I'm
thank
living that
you.
existence today. So
You really are.
Hey, if you guys want to play a great cat game, play Neo 2. It's got cats in it. It's got a cat yokai in it. All right, Mario. I'm gonna let you start this conversation. and then this is gonna be Mario, Fee, and Brady in this situation with the Steam Deck. You guys all have the Steam Deck. You all have been messing around with the Steam Deck. He's got it in hands. He's got it right there on with him. I'm gonna let you take over this conversation.
Yeah, I finally got the Steam Deck after. If anyone's following me on Twitter, you saw that I had the plight of getting it on 9/11 and then couldn't pay for it, which I thought was hilarious. So yeah, I ended up not getting it. My reservation ended up getting canceled. And then I immediately just go ahead and put the $5 right back on the reservation. And then 2 weeks later, it was like, hey, guess what? You can get it now. And I'm like, oh, again? I have the money apparently now. And so I did it. I put on the money in there. It took about a week and a half or something to start shipping. And this is when I had a problem with FedEx.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about FedEx too, apparently.
Yeah, this is when we bring up FedEx, okay? When it was in the process of shipping, and I got to see the dates, it said it was going to come on a Wednesday, and that Wednesday was a day off of mine. And I was ecstatic. I was ready to play this thing all day and have fun and just do wonderful things. And then in the middle of the day, it just was like, we're kidding. We're coming tomorrow. You're going to be working that day, so we're going to just delay it a day for any reason, because as we probably don't know, the Steam Decks are actually coming from Carroll Stream, Illinois, which is an hour away from my house, which literally I could drive up to the factory that these things are making and be like, hey, can I just have mine? And no. So yeah, that was cool. But here's the best part though, was in FedEx, you could, if you have an account with them, you can leave remarks. And you can leave like, hey, delivery instructions. Hey, don't just leave it on my porch. You know, I was like, don't put it on the porch, put it behind the door, right? Because it's an open door. You can go into it. Shit you not, though. They took a picture of it, and it's just hanging right on top of the stairs, like almost tear topping off the top stair, like doing a pirouette. And I'm like, I got to call my landlord right now to make sure that they can get this. And it's just like, all right. So yeah, FedEx, we have beef, and I'm gonna take you down one step at a time. But in the meantime, I got to play the Steam Deck. I've only touched it for less than like maybe 6 hours, and already I'm doing so many crazy things with it. I've immediately downloaded as many games as I possibly could because I bought a SD. As Fee will understand, because we have a channel in our private little Discord here. I bought some things. I bought the dock ahead of time. I bought the stand. That's why it's right here in front of me. I bought a memory card as well, so I could be ready to go. And I'm having a blast. This thing is incredible. It's literally endless possibilities in the form factor that looks like a Game Gear, right? This thing can power my dreams. And that's all I've been doing. I, of course, immediately found a way to put the emulators on here. Won't tell you what I put on here, though. But I'm telling you now, it's the best. It runs very well of all the games that I've already tried on this. I, of course, downloaded quite a few. I tried The Witcher on here. I've tried Enslaved, Odyssey, Journey of Odyssey, whatever the name of that game is. It runs beautifully on this thing. This thing literally is incredible. I'm going to open up the floor because I think some of you had more time with it than I have had. So I'm actually going to throw it to Fargo. Tell me about your experience with it.
It's incredible if it doesn't melt your fingers off, because that sumbitch gets hot. Holy crap. Yeah, so I've been trying to play it. I've done like Cult of Lamb and all kind of stuff while charging, which maybe is like the reason why it's getting so hot. But it's like, just like when you try and use a phone hotspot while it's plugged in, that battery will explode in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So I've been loving mine. I've been playing some Rocket League on mine. I'm a little disappointed I can't play Destiny on this because it doesn't have the anti-cheat enabled on there. So that's my only gripe with it. Also, I bought Modern Warfare 2 on Steam, so I'm like, really, I'm just boned.
You get Stadia Destiny right down to it.
All right, I'm disconnecting.
No. I didn't say that. I was literally being
the funny thing is, like, I got a Stadia controller for free because I got like a Google, whatever it is that plugs into the TV. I got a Stadia controller for free. Yeah, I got Chromecast. I got a Stadia controller for free with that. And when my baby girl wants to play games with us, I give her the Stadia controller because it's the only time anybody's ever going to use it.
He is is physically being hurt right now because she loves Stadia. She is a huge Stadia person.
Great concept, but
Great. I will say Stadia had an awesome concept. It was really, really well done. It's just I think their business models are what fucked them. I wholeheartedly
Hold on,
agree.
save
their
that for
business
later.
model fucked them.
Save that for
We're
later.
talking
Yeah,
about this
we're
later.
gonna
Talking
talk about
Steam
Stadia
Deck.
later.
But speaking of cloud gaming, I also was able to put Xbox Game Pass on here, and it works very beautifully as well. So I'm able to stream Fortnite and just play through different levels. I mentioned Fortnite a lot in this episode. But
So it's going through XCloud, right?
it's through it's through xCloud. You do have to do like a few steps to get it to go like kind of smoothly, but it works pretty great. But first person that got it before I did, of course, was Fee. Fee, what has your experience been? Because I think you are playing the excavation of Hobbs Barrow on this thing, right?
I am. I got the edition, like I got the 512, so I got the keyboard and all the bells and whistles, I guess. And so I remember I got it, and then I tried to open it. There is a it comes with a exclusive case, which, by the way, didn't find out that there was a safety tie that has their frickin' emblem on it. So I was trying to open it, and I'm like, why can't I open it? And I was just like, this is kind of dumb. And then I realized, like, oh shit, I need to remove this thing that has the emblem on it. So I have to go running around my apartment looking for scissors. And of course, shockingly, for people who've been a long listener of the podcast, I usually have like 6 pairs of scissors on my desk at one time. We don't know why. It just seems to collect on my desk. That's a joke. I think I have 2 or 3. Could not find any of them. And so I'm like running around my apartment in a 15-minute like break trying to like figure out where these fucking scissors are. Finally found the scissors, cut it open, opened up, look at it for 2 seconds, say chef's kiss, that looks really good, close it back up, and then I had to go back to work. So then I downloaded all the updates on my lunch break, got to see it for 2 seconds. Once again, chef's kiss, put it back into the fucking case and ran back to my desk to do my job. And then I finally got to sit down and play with it. And I've really been enjoying it. I think the colors are very vibrant. And it's been a really like awesome experience to be able to play the game that I am. Just because the way that it transitions from the actual game, like at least for myself, I thought it was very cool where you select the game and then it has like that kind of fun transition to the actual game itself. Which with the game that I'm currently playing even adds a little bit extra because even the loading screen is kind of terrifying in some manner. So it just really like sets the mood of the entire game. But no, it's I've had nothing but a fun time with it. I plan on downloading more this weekend to test it out. Because I haven't like I could download Control, I could download some more graphically intensive games. That wasn't really what I was looking for the first time I tested it out though. And would highly recommend not playing on the Stadia, not Stadia, my goodness, on the Steam Deck when
Mhm.
you are charging it, because it's going to get hot. That's what happens when you charge a piece of tech that you are using extensively. But no, I agree. I was trying to hold it and I like had to like put it down in a way and try not like I was only holding the sides and I was going like this because I'm like I don't want to touch the back. It's very very hot. Even playing a non-intensive like graphically intensive game, or at least I didn't think so. Mind you, there is like like actual like shading and like fog, so it has like the pixel aspect and then they have actual like other graphics on top of it to make it like set the mood. So it might be that, but I don't think so. But it becomes very hot very fast, and it's quite cool here because it's been pretty cool here because like since the hurricane. But no, I'm interested to see something a little bit more visually intensive this weekend, and I'll come back to you next week with how that went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I tried to play Elden Ring a few days ago, and I was getting like maybe 30 frames, maybe about that, but it seemed to play just fine. So it's just in a game like that where you need every millisecond, it's a little bit tricky. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I put the only game that didn't like immediately load perfectly for me was actually The Witcher 3, and it might be because of something that I did when I first played it, because what's really cool about this is that it picks up right from your cloud saves. So immediately I was right where I left off. But the aspect ratio was like completely to the left side, so like I couldn't see what I was clicking, and I had to like make sure that I was in the right spot. And the only way that I was able to fix it was, luckily, when I booted up the game, it has the start continue options, and I was able to change the resolution right there, and it just worked. So
Is The Witcher 3 a Steam Deck like
verified.
verified? Okay,
Yeah, it
is
is.
Steam Deck
That's why I was
verified?
like,
Okay.
what's wrong? So it must have been something when I first set it up, and it just saved my settings that way. But after I fixed that, I basically lowered it down to about 45 frames per second, and it ran buttery smooth after that. It was just the beauty of this thing is that it's the promise that the Switch gave us 5 or 6 years ago, where it was like, hey, console gaming on the go, right? But these are actually like heavily intensive, the latest games on here, and the fact that it just works beautifully. And I've also got to experience it in docked mode because I have the dock too. And last night I plugged this thing right next to my television, Bluetooth my Xbox controller, and I was playing matches of Multiverses, and I was kicking ass. Like, it ran perfectly on a shitty old 1080p TV that I got that honestly was a blast. And I'm the fact that I could just do that. I could just put it down, immediately start working on it. I plugged keyboard and mouse to this thing. I've used the Linux desktop mode, which I don't want to touch Linux. It's scary. I'm afraid I'm going to break it.
Linux is scary. Yeah,
Which,
Linux is scary.
you have to do a lot of
Don't
weird
be
things.
scared.
It's so scary.
I mean, for a
That's
person that has never
code.
seen Linux before, I can see why it'd be scary.
Yeah, and it's like, in order to put the like download stuff, like for instance, even the xCloud stuff, you had to like type in code for it to work properly, and I was scared. But anyways, I got it to go. It was easy.
I know, but it's funny because you probably have to like run some CMD code in there and then just run some like
whatever the fuck it's
yeah,
called.
some pseudocode and stuff like that. And then when people like see that, they're like, "Oh my god, that must like do so crazy
This is
thing."
the
If you
Matrix.
type
I'm
something,
a hacker now.
if you type something
Hack the
wrong, it'll
planet.
tell you, be like, if you type something wrong, it'll tell you, be like, you typed something wrong. And just type it again.
You know what also scared me though? The other thing that scared me is I was watching a video showing me how to do it, and it was like, I don't know Linux, and I don't want to fuck around with this thing, and if I press the wrong thing, but this is from Microsoft, so I'm trusting Microsoft.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay, all right.
Linux from Microsoft. Okay.
Yeah, because they actually gave people real reasons to like use xCloud on this thing, and they gave the source of how to do it. And I was like, that's awesome. So that's how I was able to make it work. But yeah, I love this thing. I'm excited to talk more about it as I use it more. Like I said, I haven't used it in longer sessions. I want to try it on more intensive games. But until then, I just gotta wait. Otherwise, this is gonna be my Persona 5 machine for the next like several months. So I'm
God, that's actually a really good idea. That's
very
such a
happy
good idea
about
because I want to
this.
play Persona 5 Royal at
And
some point.
This is your perfect solution.
And this is probably the moment. I have a question for Fee, since she is Canadian and she can answer this question for me. How, like, if you don't mind me asking, how much was the top model for you?
Good question. It was almost $1,000.
Almost
Rent.
$2,000. So it's about
Yep.
about $900 then.
I would say it was about it was give or take. I think it was
Harv.
like leaning closer to $1,000 though. Mind you, by the way, as a heads up, I got a shit ton of Steam points. If anyone has a real fucking reason for me to have over, I think right now I have 125,000.
Yeah.
You don't want to add the DVD menu to your profile in Steam? Like, you could buy that shit. I don't know what the fuck it does, but like, it's just flair. You could buy
Just
flair for
a
your
wicked
profile.
Rocket League frame on your profile picture.
Yeah, or like in your
excellent.
friends list, like it does like weird shit. Like, it's weird.
819 plus
I got this-
13% is what Becky says.
I got the Steam Deck exclusive. It lights up my avatar with like blue and pink around it. I'm
Oh
like,
my
that is
god.
perfect. I'm like, I'm a part of the cool club now.
Like nerds. 0.13 plus 8 9. Sorry, I'm doing some calc- yeah. So what? Okay, what Becky said. What would 930 bucks?
I'll say this:
looks
I
like-
I got the middle version, and it's totally great. Totally great. I have 256, and then I had a.
I'm in
512
this weird place right now. Where I'm like, do I want to grab it now or do I wait for another iteration of this thing?
I think it now.
Yeah, I mean the thing is,
I would say like between the Switch OLED and the Switch base, fine getting the Switch base. Like it's gonna be that kind of a thing, probably.
Yeah, I think it's like I don't use my Switch at all. Like it just sits there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use it this weekend. I'm gonna use it tomorrow, and then it's gonna go back in the closet, and I'm gonna forget about it for about 9 months or to a year.
Apparently, and I didn't hear
Right?
you didn't hear this from me. Apparently, you can play Switch games on this thing, no problem.
I mean,
because
if you have an
Kotaku-
emulator for anything, anything,
Kotaku
then
had a
you can
report
play
where it was like Valve did like an official video, and in the video you could see the Switch emulator in it. And I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Harv, I seem to remember you also have another thing in your apartment right now that is currently collecting dust.
Yeah, my
and that's
PS5
absolutely
just
nothing.
fucking sits there. It doesn't do
Correct.
anything.
But you play more like there's
I
a
play,
lot more.
I play a lot of PC games. Yes, I play a lot of
Correct.
PC games. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of this is because I have hundreds and hundreds of PC games that I never played because I didn't have a really great PC, and I don't like sitting here playing video games. I like being on the couch. I like being laying in my bed. And so the fact that this is the best of both worlds, then yeah, I could take it. I could plug it in my TV and just do my thing.
Also, I think it's a really great way to like play a lot more story driven games like Persona, playing stuff like the my goodness, the excavation. I'm also probably gonna go back and play some more like point and click adventure story games. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I was thinking about going back and playing the original trilogy of Ace Attorney, some of the other like
The real question, Fee,
yes.
can you play your Nancy Drew games on this thing?
Oh, 100% can.
There you go.
Mind you, I'm not gonna fucking try to play Secrets Can Kill because that one is janky AF already on the computer version, the normal one that you can get on Steam, because they still refuse to fix the music in the library. If you understand that,
Oh, this would be a great. Sorry, Fee. Sorry.
Wow, thank you. It's okay. It's fine. It's okay.
That's the power of the stand. You just get the possibility to just start unlocking, and all of a sudden you're just horny for this thing. And I had to get it.
I bought Tales of Arise, and I played about 4 hours. Of it.
Perfect.
And now, like, this is probably the perfect game for me to play.
I downloaded
this game.
Valkyria Chronicles, which is a game I've always wanted to play, and I'm ready to go.
Valkyria Chronicles is fucking amazing.
I just want to play it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Okay, you know what? The end of this month, not this paycheck, but the next paycheck, I will grab a Steam Deck. I'll order one.
I believe you because this man fucking you talk to him about one thing or show him a picture of a fucking monitor and he buys it. And then he gives you a heart attack because he's just like, I think that monitor is pretty cool. Send me the link. You send him the link. He buys it. And then he's just like, it's on the way. And I'm like, excuse me?
This is the best gaming system ever. It has Sega Bass Fishing ready to go, verified on
Oh,
Steam
wow.
Deck. I can't
Perfect.
wait.
See, like, for me, emulation isn't a big deal because, like, for me, old game is old. I will play the emulated
Right.
game for like 5 minutes. It'll be
You're
like,
so
I don't
wrong.
need to play this ever again. I never
Handheld
need
makes
to.
a difference though,
That is different though. Yes, I feel like handheld
because
probably
I
won't
still
make a
don't
difference.
have Super Mario RPG on my Switch.
Oh my god.
There's a guy named Wario. Okay, I just met him. His name is Wario. He's been playing a lot of.
Is it the 64th iteration?
Sure. He's been playing a lot, a lot of old Game Boy games. He's never got a chance to play, and so he's very happy about that.
Okay, yeah. Oh man, I haven't played. I haven't played Super Mario RPG in so fucking long, man. Oh, that game was so good. It's so good.
I'm just gonna okay, fuck it. I don't care. Here we go.
What's that?
I love that. I love that.
I had a custom canvas one of a kind painting done because that is my favorite game ever.
Oh, dude,
there you go.
it's so good, so good. I love it. I love to see it. Love
Yeah.
to see it. Okay, we're gonna move on now, chat. Chat, guys. I say chat too much. I'm sorry. Streamer brain. Okay.
Correct.
To what we've been watching. Sly, you've been watching the Young Royals. What is the Young Royals?
Man. Yeah, I did watch Young Royals. It's a Swedish Netflix original miniseries. It's gay. It's about royals. It's
Swedish
something-
Royals.
Swedish.
So
Swedish.
I did watch the show, and then I immediately read a lot of fan fiction based on the show.
Apparently, there's a new season coming out November 1st.
There is. And I have complicated feelings because I had complicated feelings about the show. But yeah, it's sad, it's gay. Look at the content warnings. There's a lot of them. That's all I have to say about Young Royals.
Sounds like something my
Alright.
wife would love.
Kind of reminds you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of what's the show that was on Netflix? That's on Netflix.
The
People that made Downton Abbey.
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. Kind of reminds me
Yep.
of Bridgerton. Yeah.
Not at all.
Wait, is this not based in, like present time, or is it based like in back in
It's
the?
it's current.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's modern. The main character is Prince. He gets kicked off to boarding school. Shenanigans ensue.
Tale as old as time.
Beauty and the Beast.
All right, and then you've also been. We're gonna talk about Werewolf by Night when you and Mario can talk about it. But you've also done the OG 911.
Yes, it's season 6 of 911 is back. It started in September, but I feel like we haven't done a podcast in years. It's the 911 is 911ing. We're starting to get back to like good 911, which was nice. It was a strong opening to the season. Last week's was really interesting. And then this week's episode, they went, if you've seen 911 through season 5, they went full Boston. You'll get that reference. It was really interesting storytelling. But I saw the other day that episode 6 of this season is going to be written / directed by one of my favorite writers on 911. So I'm like so excited for a couple weeks. But yeah, we're getting back to decent 911 and it's very exciting.
Nice. Okay. I've never seen 911. I have no idea what the show is.
It's
And you talk about it every week, so I still haven't checked it out.
It's it's okay. 911 is cool because it tries to hit on every like aspect of first responding. So you have dispatch centers, you have the police department, you have the fire department, and they're all working together. But other than that, it's the first responder show. Like there's nothing more to
Is the
it.
fire one the one with Rob Lowe?
That's Lone Star.
Oh, Lone. Oh, okay.
911 Lone
sorry.
Star has
Okay.
Rob Lowe, and it's a choice. It's a choice.
I thought I saw him in like a fire helmet, so I was just.
He also works with a lot of people. Like
That-
Owen
wait,
Strand is the worst character on that show, and I feel so bad because like it's Rob Lowe, but also he's an awful character.
Wait! I have is the plot one star, one Lone Star, just Rob Lowe by himself running every department, and he puts on different hats. And
No,
he's like,
it's
one episode
okay,
to come.
911 Lone Star is Rob Lowe fulfilling all of his like dream role fantasies is what it feels like. And it sucks because this show is so great. I like Lone Star, I would probably rank higher than OG if we like took Owen Strand out of the equation. Like you got so many amazing like character stories happening there. You have Gina Torres fucking killing it. Amazing performance. The fact that she's number 2 on the call sheet is a shame. And then you have Rob Loweing. And like it breaks my heart because this show could be so great except for Rob Lowe is there.
God, I just want to pitch a show to Rob Lowe. It's like, Rob Lowe, you live in a town. You're the only one in the town. You are the mayor, the cops, the firefighters. You're even the citizens, and then you just live on your own.
From
the
what
Twilight
we've
Zone
heard
episode.
And for apparently he is going to be the firefighter, but also working with the FBI, and it's a whole convoluted mess. Let's move on before I start crying over how
all I know is Liv Tyler's in it, which is kind of cool too.
Rob Lowe.
it's great.
Let's talk about Abbott Elementary. Is this a Sherlock Holmes thing?
No.
You don't know what this
Okay.
is? Oh,
I have no idea
man.
what this is. I don't. Don't give me that look. I don't know what this is. Like I have no idea.
No,
Wait.
What?
Okay, let me.
I've
Google,
never
let me
watched an
No.
episode. I know that this is a very popular show.
oh my god. Okay.
Same.
I exist on Twitter.
I haven't
I have
seen
never
it. It's
seen
a
this before.
comedy. It's really good. It's not a slideshow, but I've heard it's amazing.
So it is a mockumentary, which, by the way, I believe I'm the resident huge fan of mockumentaries. I fucking love mockumentaries.
Yeah.
If I could watch every mockumentary, I would. So I like it's a mockumentary sitcom about a elementary school and the people who work in it, and dealing with kind of like how terrible the school system is and how underfunded they are. Even the very first episode, they're just like, hey, we're incredibly underfunded. We have zero money, but hey, they're able to put millions of dollars into a fucking stadium being updated up down the street. Like, this is like terrible, like whatever. But no, it has some really great characters. Quinta Brunson, one of the only saving graces from fucking BuzzFeed right now, which by the way, we'll talk about that later on. She was a very like she was fantastic at BF, and she's absolutely fabulous in the show. They also have the guy who played Chris from Everybody Hates Chris, Tyler James Williams, and a number of other characters. Lisa Ann Walter, if you've seen freaking The Parents on like Trap, or Parents, the one with Lindsay Lohan in it. But no, it's really funny. It's on Disney Plus right now, alongside 911. So would highly
In
recommend
Canada.
it.
Canadian.
In Canada.
Okay, sorry,
It's
the one
on
that
Hulu.
matters to me.
It would be
So
on
I would
Hulu.
actually-
It would be on Hulu for us.
Yeah.
So for the
Fucking suckers.
so for me,
You guys gotta pay for two
and
services. Wait, is Hulu connected to Disney Plus? Like,
If you have the bundle,
for
yes.
us it is.
Yes.
If you have
Anything
Verizon,
that-
it's
No,
included
I'm
in
talking
your
about
service.
US. I'm talking about US.
Yeah.
If you have Verizon, it's
No,
included
they're
in your
separate
service.
platforms.
Or
There's
if you do
separate
Hulu,
platforms.
or
They have
if
a
you do
bundle.
Hulu live stream for like your TV service, you also get Disney and ESPN Plus.
Yes.
Okay, but they're different platforms. But if you have Disney Plus,
They have a
you
bundle.
have Hulu as. Oh,
They have a
you still
bundle.
have to pay.
No,
There's a bundle.
No.
you have
Yep.
to pay more for both.
Ah,
$14,
that's kinda lame.
or if you have Verizon, it's included in one of your plans.
Have you remember
That's
that
lame.
conversation that we had about Crave, where Crave just seems better than HBO Max in the US?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
something
HBO
that
Max.
goes pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah.
No, it's I really enjoy it. I actually sat down and binged the entire first season. I think it was on Wednesday night. Yeah, it was on Wednesday night. I binged the entire series, like at least season 1, because that was the only one that was available. I think it was only 9 episodes anyway. But no, it's really well done. I honestly thought it was hilarious. There were some sections where I just was not prepared. And just like with any good mockumentary, there is also like the emotional aspect to it. But I feel like this is going to be like, I'm looking forward to seeing more of this mockumentary. I kind of missed it, especially where like in the early 2010s we had literally The Office, we had Parks and Recreation, we have like 1 or 2 maybe mockumentaries that are like around
Modern
in the
Family.
Modern Family.
Yeah, Modern Family was
yeah.
on at the same time, by the way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it was just like we had all these mockumentaries, and then they kind of just like dissipated. So I'm hoping
They're
that
tough.
we get-
I feel like they're tough to do. I feel like mockumentaries are tough to do. Like especially funny. In a way.
I'm trying to think of a mockumentary that's not good and funny.
Is Veep a mockumentary? Is Veep?
No.
No.
It's not considered a mockumentary. No, there
No.
like it has the feeling to it. Like you could.
It's got
probably-
that camera aspect that like most mockumentaries do, but they don't interview any of the characters that are in the show. They're just shot the way it's shot.
Yeah, but no, I'm excited. Like it's very funny. If you haven't already seen it, it is really very well done. And I'm honestly yeah, I would just recommend it. It's kind of crazy, and reminds me every single moment why children, as much as apparently they are our future, they're also going to be the death of us all. So that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I have 2 of them. They're
Um,
killing me right now.
Boom.
This is slowly. It's like a slow death.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mm.
Monsters at Work.
Correct. So
I'm not even gonna. I was gonna say, is this a Monsters Inc. thing?
I'm you know what? Actually, good job, because it is a Monsters Inc.
Oh,
related thing.
fucking nailed it!
Good
Let's
job.
go.
Finally. I was about to say, I'm like, you know what, Harv, after what you believed Abbott's Elementary was, I would love for you to explain to me what you think Monsters at Work is. And good job.
To be fair to Harv, there was 911 Lone Star, which he could have been like. Abbott Elementary is like the sequel series to Elementary, so I get the
And Rob Lowe's the
translation-
principal.
And Rob Lowe's the
Rob, yeah,
principal.
Rob loves the
Oh my god.
No.
Rob loves just everywhere.
No, so this is honestly, I'm a massive fan of Monsters Inc. It's probably one of my favorite like films, like when it comes to like Pixar and everything. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. I was kind of concerned because I'm like, okay, it's probably gonna be more like leaning towards kids and it's not gonna be that great. Honestly, shocked how good it was. It is this continuation of Monsters Inc. So if you haven't seen Monsters Inc., it's literally came out in 2003. I don't know how not to spoil this for you. So it continues with them having to rebuild Monsters Inc. after the tragedy of the old CEO and president getting like thrown out and contained and essentially being thrown into monster prison because he was trying to essentially kill children. So it's them trying to build up from the bottom up, and be more all about like laughter and everything and their struggles. And the new characters are really good. There are some kind of like I'm saying it's a lot more adult than I thought it was going to be because it addresses things like death. There is a character who died and they were talking about the entire episode where he died the year before. Actually I think it was the year before, like 2 years beforehand. Yeah, he was sucked into a machine and they only have fur left of him. And so they just constantly talk about getting over like talking about grief. And I'm like, I'm one, good job, Disney. And two, yeah, I just wanted something like a feel good kind of animated show. And I was concerned that it was gonna be too kiddie, but no, I thought it was quite funny. But yeah, that was it. It was really well done. The animation was a little bit weird, just slightly weird because going from like a multi-million dollar like animated film to TV, you always see that kind of like transition. It seemed a little bit like once you watch it, you'll understand it kind of like the animation seemed a little bit faster because they're trying to maybe compensate for the animation style being slightly reduced. I don't know. Who knows? It still looks really good. Would highly recommend. And yeah. Also, they have the same
Nice.
voice actors as a heads up. So they didn't just like cut out like they seem to do that with some other like Disney films when they become into TV.
Aladdin.
They, like, switch into
Man, remember
well,
the
they,
days?
yeah, they have yeah, no, they have Billy Crystal, they have Henry Winkler is in it. He's hilarious.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he's a character. They have John Goodman. Mind you, John Goodman is barely in it. Like Sully seems to be kind of like
Too busy
reduced.
doing the counters.
I mean, also the fact that like he kind of got dethroned in Monsters Inc. because
True.
it's just like he's scary. Mind you, he's adorable because he's a fluffy monster, but that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, really well done. But as always, they have a star-studded cast because they have Disney money. So
Exactly. You know who doesn't have Disney money? Supernatural does not have Disney money, but they got that CW money. They got that CW money though. They got that.
Yeah, that
CW
Warner Brothers
Warner
side
Brothers
pocket
WB,
money.
baby.
Has anybody else here seen Supernatural?
Yeah, too much of
Yeah,
it.
I've watched the entire thing.
I
Yeah.
watched
Okay, so
way too much
everybody's
of it.
seen it but me.
You'd
Great,
love it.
I love that. No, I would not. I do not want to be hate crimed every episode. I will never watch Supernatural.
Whoa.
However, I have read maybe like 20 Supernatural fan fictions. And I've seen the opening to season 4, episode 1 probably like 15 times.
Nice.
It's a
Also, you're
good
probably not
show.
going to watch it because you'll be 47 when you actually finish it.
You'll be 47.
Yeah, that's
I've
true.
lost,
Yeah. It's what 16 seasons, I think, 15 seasons.
And
20?
24 episodes a pop, an hour a pop. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time I've ever been in a relationship, Supernatural's still been around. Now I don't have any relationships, and Supernatural's not around, so I'm screwed. Yeah. Crazy.
So you're
Well, my
rewatching.
question is, why? Why are you revisiting this?
Because it is hands down one of the top 3 greatest American TV shows ever made, even though it was filmed in Canada. But like,
That's
at least we'll go from season 1 to season 5. Maybe that's what we should do.
Yes.
Season 1 to season 5 and cut it off 15 seconds before season 5 final episode actually clips. Then you're fine. You're fine. Like, just wash your hands of it and walk away.
It's the
The next 10 years of your life.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Yellow-eyed demon and Satan and God. Like, that's what, well, Satan at least. But I think probably one of my favorite like storylines of all of Supernatural is when they were like chasing the 4 horsemen and that kind of a thing. Like, I loved that kind of stuff in season 4 and season 5.
Yeah.
Wolfie?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
like, to be frank, and I'm gonna say this right now, one of the best introductions in like honestly in television history is the introduction of death. There is literally no introduction that can
All of
compare
them.
to the introduction. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the song that they were playing, and then him
Oh,
like,
yeah.
walking in,
He's just
and
like
then-
slow walking,
and then that guy's just like "fuck you," and he's just like "bam," and then he's just like
collapses. Yeah.
literally, I get chills. I'm literally thinking about this, and I'm getting goosebumps. I'm just like,
Yeah, I mean, they had war and driving the red Mustang. They had pestilence
yeah.
that was insane, and yeah, they had the 7 deadly sins like that were making people like drink bleach. It was just like legitimately watch the first 5 seasons. Don't care about the last 15 seconds of the 5th season and
then you got a
capstone,
complete
and
arc.
just go from there.
Yeah, you got a complete arc.
Yeah,
don't have to
then
worry
you
about
have a
it.
perfect show. Perfect show.
But you won't meet
I-
the best character, which is Castiel.
Minus, the whole hate criming of all the queerness, but all right.
Oh, Destiel? What?
What?
Oh, Supernatural. Okay, here's the thing. I know a lot about like the media. I have no idea the context, but I do know the whole like vampire Dean arc, super allegory for, a bunch of queer stuff. They're just like
This show is
It-
super gay.
the
Oh,
show
super.
is
Super
super.
gay.
super hate crimey. Like, I don't
I
know what
mean,
else
I
to
would
tell you.
probably say it's more on the lines of the fact that, like, even the actual actors hate the fact that the directors, like, constantly killed off female main characters. Like, we saw,
Mhm.
like,
Alicia Day.
Alicia
Yeah.
Days. Like, that entire... There was no reason.
There was no
for what
reason to kill
happened.
her. There was no reason to kill her.
Like, I would probably say it's more on the lines of he just did not like or respect women in that case. And there's like literally the actor who plays Crowley does not
Yeah.
like some of the people, like the higher ups in the show, and he like literally looked at, like, when they had a conversation, a character, like a person in an audience during, I think it was one of the Comic Cons, asked, why'd you kill her off? Like, why did you do this? There was absolutely no reason for you to do this, and there's a constant trend of you constantly killing off female characters. And all the actors like stood back and they're just like, you have to answer this because we have no actual, like, we are not answering this because that was your decision.
Yeah,
You
because
guys
they
did
wanted to do a particular thing, and the character that played Crowley was like, I don't want to do that. Like that shouldn't be like a thing that's in the show and stuff like that. Was it Eric? Did he leave after the 5th season? Kripke?
Crowley?
No, Kripke.
No,
He left
the
after
writer.
5,
Oh.
right?
He was there for 5, right?
Yeah.
Then he left.
That explains a lot, but then yeah.
Yeah, and then he started working on some other stuff.
Kripke,
think that's what it
didn't he
was.
do Walking Dead? No.
No,
he did The
he's
Boys.
doing The Boys right now.
Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why they brought Jensen Ackles on, because he was
Right.
just like, we have a character and his name is Soldier Boy and you need to come play this
You.
It was funny because like I was watching an interview. I think I told them as well, and he was doing a podcast and he talked to because the finale was happening for Supernatural, and he sent the finale to Jensen Ackles, or no, to Kripke. Like Jensen Ackles sent it
Yeah.
to Kripke. He's like, "What do you think about like the finale? What do you think about this?" And then he's just like, "If you have anything on the Boys, just let me know, and I'll come in and like have a cameo and stuff." He's like, "Just wait." And then like 3 months later, he's like, "I wrote a character for you. This is
We have
this
a
character is
mainline
just for you.
character.
Yeah, this is a character for you." And that's how he got the job to the Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean,
apparently I've never watched the Boys. I've only watched the first season.
I have
of
not started the Boys
so-
yet either. That's gonna be a binge for me during the winter, like on a blizzard weekend or something like that.
You're gonna have a good time.
That's what I've heard. But let's just take a second and realize that Supernatural probably gave us some of the most amazing parts of like American TV ever. Yellow Fever, one of the best episodes ever created. The cat jumping out of the locker. I mean, come on. And then Nerd Today, the musical episode. And then
the
we
best
had
episode,
Negan in there.
The best episode, though, in my opinion, is whenever they break the fourth wall and we go to the real world, and they are themselves, and they go to their real wife, movie, and all that. Like, that's all my favorite stuff.
Or anything with Gabriel involved, the trickster.
That's always
Yeah. But yeah, I'm rewatching. Like, I usually just go like the first 5 seasons and then go from there. Like, and I just pick and choose like my favorite episodes. But because like when I'm just working, I just have my second monitor up, unless like Tim the Tatman streaming or something like that. I'm just watching something. So
yeah. I binged the shit out of that show, and I watched so much of it. And the one thing that always like is so weird to me that the show has is that these two brothers love each other. They want to hang out with each other. They want to do all this stuff together. But apparently they never talk to each other. And so like every time they're having a problem, they don't just fucking talk to each other. You're like, oh, you guys just have to say things to each other. That's all you have to do. Yeah.
I also just want to say, even though the story arc was kind of like bleh, like Timothy Omson as Kane, holy fuck!
Oh my god, the Kane arc, yes.
Oh my god, so
was it the first mark or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna straight up say it. He was hot as hell. I mean, like came in.
He's a good looking old dude.
He's a good looking man, and I was just like, okay, Kane, tell us what we're gonna do. Oh, Dean, you're gonna go through all this fucking shit. Oh, Dean doesn't give a flying fuck, and then just does not care about anybody. I'm like, this is.
Oh, now Dean's gonna scythe death.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna go kill this man, like kill these people. I'm like, what the? I mean, like. Mind you, did the arc end up very well? If I remember correctly, it was like,
It was
like,
mid.
Thank you, Timothy, for existing. It was fantastic. And he did very well. He did.
Honestly, like the worst arc for me for Supernatural is with Jack. I just don't care about the Nephilim. Like, this isn't Diablo. I don't care.
Yeah.
So.
Was the end of season 5 the Leviathan thing at the end?
The end of season 5 was when Sam throws himself into the pit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the whole like he chugs like 5 gallons of demon's blood and he tries to contain the devil.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I do remember that. Yeah. It's been a long time since I watched this show. It's been
like seriously, like after you get past the first season and it's like the monster a day episodes kind of thing, god tier show. Like yeah.
Leviathan season 7. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I remember like when I first played Until Dawn. And the first thing I thought of was this, like, how would like Sam and Dean fucking deal with these Wendigos? Because we saw that in episode 2, season 1.
Episode 2, season 1.
And that was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, these are fucking Wendigo. Like, this is fantastic. And mind you, it had kind of the same vibe as the Wendigo in the show. So it was like
it looked very similar, just like lanky and. That's why I told my wife, like, if we're ever haunted in this house, I've watched so much Supernatural, I know how to take care of everything. We're set. Don't worry.
Fee, you just made me so want Dead by Daylight to have Sam and Dean as playable survivors.
How have Dead by Daylight not had that kind of expansion? Like, God. I've thought about that so many times. Like, how hasn't it been like a Supernatural game where, like, yeah,
come on,
like, give me a Telltale game with Sam and Dean.
Please.
Exactly, because like they need to have a video game where you have to like select different things.
I still haven't seen anything about the prequel. I haven't watched the trailer. I haven't watched anything about that.
I haven't seen anything.
Not good.
Because it's about Mary and Negan before they're even born.
It's like we already knew what happened. We legit had like episodes where Sam and Dean go back to where their parents were children.
Right.
And I'm just like, why do we need an entire thing?
And they even say that their grandfather too. Like they go so far back.
That's the thing. That's the funny thing about this, because like the whole premise of Supernatural, how it started, was like how they wanted to, like, you know, because their dad, right? It's all because their dad. This show, this prequel, is about apparently their, like, the person that's in the show. It's about their dad, and when because I think Fee and I watched the trailer together. And we're just like, this is the same premise to Supernatural. Like, there's no difference.
Yeah, because if everyone remembers, season 1, it's just like, Sam, Dad went on a hunting trip and he hasn't been back.
Doesn't come back
yet."
in a while.
And then it's just like you just see like the mom on the ceiling and she's caught on fire
Torched.
and then like just getting torched to all hell. And then them constantly like it's just always that every single time. It's just like Sam, Dad has gone on a camping trip. It's been like 4 days. I haven't heard from him.
It's like
Mom
cigarettes.
and then it's just like every single
Yeah.
episode. I'm so happy after season 1 they got rid of that because every
Like Dean,
single
I'm sorry, he's in rehab. Like seriously, let's just talk about it.
He's not coming back.
No,
He's not
he's
coming
going
back.
through it. I'm like, please, for the love of all that is God. Like at that point, by like I think it was like episode 19, they were still doing the same thing, and I'm like, you guys need to.
Yeah, because I'm
stop."
pretty sure at the end of episode 1 is when they get like T-boned by the semi, right? And then they end up in the hospital, and then we get Azazel in the hospital, and yeah,
That was season
Sounds
2.
about right.
Season 2, like season
season 2
was
starts with
when they
that.
got-
Yeah,
Yeah, it's then they had all that particular point because I was just like, yeah, because episode 2 of season 1 was when they had to deal with the Wendigo. And
Mhm.
then no, I have to go back. I definitely like actually my plan was sometime in the next few weeks starting that up. I usually like to watch Supernatural in the fall. It's a quintessential like spooky season type of show. But yeah, I agree. After season 5 it kind of got a little hairy. There were definitely some good parts, but
oh yeah, there's good episodes. There's good parts of arcs.
yeah.
But am I gonna indulge myself for 24 hours to watch one season? Probably not. After that,
Yeah, and like the loop day, like the my goodness, Groundhog Day episode was probably
oh
one
my
of my favorite
god,
episodes.
so good.
Good,
So
good
good.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been watching the Hot D. Okay, which is the House
Oh
of
my
Dragons.
God.
It's a good show.
Okay.
It's very good.
I'm new to this. I did not know what you were talking about there for a second.
House of the
Hot
Dragons.
D.
The Hot D. It's a good show. They did their age up shit for some of their characters. That show is very dark for no apparent reason, and I don't understand
What do you
what's
mean?
happening.
How it's not how like for it's dark for no damn reason.
I don't know. Some
Have
of
you
the times
watched Game of Thrones?
Yeah, if you watch Game of Thrones.
yeah, but no, dark as in like not dark as in like dark theme. I'm just talking about dark as in like it's hard
Harv,
to see.
Harv. Yeah, it was dark during that
Yeah.
last episode and season, which
The
everyone
battle
made
against the
fun of
Night
it.
King. It was
By
at
the
like
way-
9,000 contrast.
They apparently fixed it, but yeah, they still are not good about their contrast.
Yeah.
Oh, I will
Still
say,
a good show,
say,
though.
like back in the day when Kind of Funny was still in the studio, when they filmed an intro at like almost pitch black to spoof that.
Yeah.
that was pretty good little touch.
Pretty good.
I still like the show. I think the show is really, really well done. I think the age up characters are awesome because I really liked she's from the Bates Motel, and I forgot her name. It's Olivia something or other.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Olivia Cook.
Yes, Olivia Cook. Yeah, I think she's an awesome actress, and yeah, so I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I want to talk about the MCU quickly though.
We switching? We switching over? What's going on?
No. I'm just
In
switching
graphic.
quickly. Yeah, it's like, how the fuck are you supposed to see anything? You just sent me a picture of just pure darkness,
Yeah,
and I can't see anything out of that.
That's the fucking battle against the Night King. That wasn't from the last episode. That's
I
what
know,
was
but
referring
that's what it
to.
looked like.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
That's what it was.
You mean walking them walking across the beach in the complete like, pitch
Now-
black?
Hold on. Harv, you want to talk about the MCU? Have you
God,
caught
that's
up to the MCU?
I am burnt out on the MCU.
'Cause you don't watch any of it.
Because I'm burnt out. I'm officially burnt out on the MCU. I can't.
Is
do
it because there's too much, or is it because there's too many
Fargo,
shows, which
no.
equals too much time watch?
Let me probably that to be honest.
It's
let
that
me-
one. It's
let
that
me
one.
fill out. Let me do little details here, okay? As me and Sly have both said to this man, listen, you can't complain that there's no direction for the MCU if you don't watch
not
anything in the
saying
MCU.
I'm
He
saying
does
there's
not watch
direction.
Eternals,
There's direction.
Shang-Chi. He doesn't watch anything.
Shang-Chi was
Black Widow?
amazing.
Exactly, and he's like, "Well, I don't know." What
I'm
the
not
direction
saying
is.
there's no direction. I've set that present or that thing to bed now. That's done. We're not talking about direction.
Listen,
I'm
you're-
just-
is
I'm
your
just
cousin
burnt
named
out on
Soups?
the MCU.
That's all I want to know.
No. No. I'm just like, it's so hard for me, man. It
That's
is
fair.
so hard for me
That's fine.
to like sit down and watch these shows.
He'll play Dark Souls 3 every day.
Yep.
I just want to say I understand where Harv's coming from because it's getting to a point where like there's so much content coming out that to be quite frank, I'm gonna compare the MCU as it being a very like time consuming MMORPG. You either are caught
Yep.
up, you've gone through, you've fought through, you fucking went through the grind, you finally get to that end, like you finally get to end tier, like you're finally actually going in and going to, and then you realize like, oh fuck, I didn't do a bunch of this shit. I didn't catch up, and now I have to watch this because I understand. I got the burnout. I understand. I tried to go through. I got stuck in like phase 1 because I'm spinning out in shield because I'm trying to keep it together and try to go through it. But it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, well, I need to watch all of this. I need to go through and watch all that. I need to then go watch this TV show and then watch this movie and then go watch this other like partial TV show, but then also I need to watch the short and then I need to be able to watch this. And so for me to be able to understand the reference here, because like if I don't understand the reference here, then obviously I've overlooked it or I'm like I don't feel adequate enough to understand what's going on. And people are like, how did you not know that that specific thing happened in like actually phase 2 and then this actually happened in like this particular show if you'd actually watched this particular section? Like it is literally trying to go through a maze or try to understand like the like end game. Like it is literally the end game. Like you're trying
And
to
God
get to the
forbid
end
if you never read a comic too, and you're trying to get these characters for the first time.
correct. Because then like for example when we were watching the latest like Captain America like the show my goodness the
Falcon and Winter
soldier.
Falcon.
Yeah, Falcon and Winter yeah, like when that like the character who was played by the woman who was in Seinfeld, I didn't know who she was. I was just like, cool, I understand that everyone else who's read the comics knows who she is, and I'm really excited for them to know that. But then like I don't feel like I completely understand it, and then I
Yeah.
slightly lose interest because then I'm like, okay, well then I now have to go read all these comics to understand.
be
I get where you're coming from.
I get where you're
Fargo.
coming through as well, Fia. I just want to say for that character specific, it's like no one is supposed to know what she does right now because she's very mysterious. But if you have
When we were watching that episode, my wife was like, "That's like a big name actress. Who the fuck is this person?"
that just I assume just means that
Obviously a big character.
this character will mean something in the future. And this character has
Yeah.
popped up now twice, potentially 3 times, coming in possibly in a new movie coming out in November. And then we'll see where the ramifications of that is, which we learn through that presentation. If you're not paying attention to the presentation, I mean, it is what it is. But I agree with everything you said, personally.
Yeah, it's just one of like I agree with where Fargo's wife was coming from. It's just like obviously they're not bringing in this big name character for them to just like not do anything with her. And if
Mhm.
they do, then by all means like get that bank, like come into this and then not actually be used ever, like by all means. I understand that they have like Disney money, but you can tell when a character is going to be big when they get a massive name and you're just like, oh, there's a bunch of people there. Oh, that's the massive character, like the massive like actor that everyone knows about, but then it's supposed to be a mysterious character. Obviously, she's gonna have something big to do because
Mhm.
she's this big name actress, or the same thing goes for another like an actor where you're just like, okay, there's a crowd. Oh, I can see exactly that person. I know they're gonna be a big name. So
Mhm. I see this tattoo on that guy's forehead. I saw him in the comics. Wow, that's gonna be our next main villain in 19 movies. Like that's why I'm so glad they made Armor Wars a movie now. Like to me, it's like have like 1 or 2 shows a year. Keep the freaking movies. Like it's just such a time sink. I'd rather go to the movie theater 6 times a year instead of having to spend 6 or 7 Wednesdays in a row for 7 months out of the year watching this.
yeah, I don't know. I feel I understand, and I think a lot of other people agree that there's definitely that Marvel fatigue right now. They're pushing out so much content, and that's kind of the same way that people are commenting on like the actual quality of the graphics and then also the editing because they're pushing out so much at once and there's so many different things coming at the same time, which I understand they have to ramp it up to be able to get to the next phase and be able to get to those main story arcs because if they don't, then we're going to be sitting here for 12 years and by the time we get to the point where we actually get to the main plot of the full phase, all the actors that started playing those characters are now not they're going to be too old. They have to get all these like because you have to think they're actors. They're going to like either age, something might happen.
We got
they
technology
need
that
to-
covers that.
Yeah, I
now,
was
so
gonna
we're
say
good.
we got the
Yeah, we're
technology.
good. We got
saw-
Princess Leia and CG. We're set.
we saw Robert Downey Jr. right when he was young in that one scene.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruce Willis is fucking selling his entire identity onto the internet. So
Oh,
it's
gosh,
just
I forgot
like,
about that.
yeah, it's like I get it, but at the same time, like maybe who knows? Maybe at that point they don't even need the actors. The actors can just sit at home and do nothing, and then they can just have
Mhm.
body doubles and have their face scanned, and then no one ever has to go back out in public. And then, man, this has been a fantastic time where we've just all sat in our homes and no one does anything except for.
I'm actually
who knows?
Frank. I just take the mask off. It's like Mario can't
Well,
be-
there was a
Which
meme I saw
then-
like Twitter, Instagram, or something like that, where it's like me and my son. My son, hey dad, can we watch Secret Wars? I've never seen any of the Marvel stuff. He's like, yeah, son. Here's 3,000 hours first. It's like the whole like compilation of everything Marvel. How the fuck you gonna watch Secret Wars if you don't know how we got there? It's like that's the problem I think Marvel's made for themselves too.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So-
like it's kind of like the same vibe of like trying to get people into Secret Wars, like freaking last, like not last year, but the like, well, I guess it was last year, when, and yes, I'm bringing up anime, and you know what, it's definitely not as convoluted, is like when the last chapter of Attack on Titan came out, and Frank just sat there and read the last chapter. He hasn't watched, read, done anything with it. He's just like, I just read this, and I'm like, what? Like you're joking. And then he referenced it. I'm like, how did you why? And he's like, I don't know. I just wanted to. He's like, that's pretty crazy. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like you don't understand what just happened. You don't understand what's going on here. And he's just like, yeah, whatevs. And I can definitely say I'm not
does-
one of those people.
That does sound like a personal issue, though. Like, how could you not experience all the things that I've experienced to get to this point? Versus Harv, which is like, I choose not to and have an opinion about like, there's something wrong with this universe.
You keep hindering on like
It's
me not
hilarious.
watching this season. I know.
It's
'Cause
hilarious. That's
It's not even about that. It's just like
I'm joking.
I just can't. Yeah, I just can't put myself and I don't want to do it. I just
Well,
don't want to watch She-Hulk. I watched the first 4 episodes and I liked the 4 first episodes. I think they were good. They're good things. But I was like, I just can't. I just can't do it. It's too hard.
And I personally
It's not too hard.
It's too
just
hard.
it's not too hard. It's too like I don't want to dedicate my time to it anymore.
I
I
got
think
you.
that's where I'm at.
I got you.
I haven't even watched the new Thor. I haven't even watched because like I can't put myself to like sit down and watch these things because like I just don't care anymore. I guess
Sure.
that's really kind of where I'm at.
Eternals is legitimately great. Shang-Chi is legitimately great. You don't
I
need
don't-
any prior knowledge to go into them.
I
Like,
don't doubt that. I literally don't doubt
But he
that.
needs
It's
3
just-
hours
it's
to watch
MC
him.
It's MC. It's just like it's just I don't want to dedicate the time I guess right now because I'm just so burnt out on the MCU.
At
Now,
3
hold
hours
on.
could get a no death run in Elden Ring.
I mean that's already done. That's like 2000. That's old news now, dude. That's old news now.
to reflect that, where I think it like you could apply it to anybody's life. It's in the same way of like I don't have time to play just general games on my TV or stuff like that because I get home at 6 o'clock. I have to make dinner. I have to do laundry. I have to throw the garbage out. And by the time 10 o'clock rolls around, I want to go to sleep or watch Hassan on YouTube. You know, like literally that's all my day, right? So there's not enough time in the day to watch everything. So you just got to pick your battles, and that's what this is for. And I understand that. But don't bring this up if you don't want to have a conversation in the middle of a 3-hour podcast, okay?
Well, talk no shit. There won't be no shit,
This is
Harv.
your warning,
Jeez.
Harv.
MCU is overrated. All right, Mario. So we're talking about pearls. What is pearls? Pearls.
Fuck. Okay. Pearl is a really
Pearl.
fantastic horror movie. The Ty West. It is a sequel to a movie that came out this year. So it's already the second movie that came out this year in this trilogy that is happening. Because they shot the movie during COVID and they shot them back to back basically because they were able to use the same space and that's how they were able to do it. So the way that
Could they just wait a year? Could they just wait a year to
No.
get the next one out?
no, not even. Which I think is awesome because this, if everything goes according to plan, in a full calendar year, you're going to get all 3 movies. Because X was the first movie, which is a 1970s kind of like send up of trashy slasher films mixed in with like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It just has that feeling to it. It's a phenomenal movie about more than what you think. It's actually about aging and beauty and what it means to grow old and stuff like that, and combines with like young beauty and stuff like that. But it's a movie about porn. It's hilarious. It's fantastic. This is a prequel to that movie, and it takes place during the Spanish flu, which is a perfect excuse for them to have masks on in certain instances of the movie. So it takes place during a pandemic, which is wild, the way that they were able to plan this out. And essentially, it follows a character from X. I don't want to spoil who or what, but it's a horror movie with the style of a Judy Garland movie. So, like, for instance, it's very much like Wizard of Oz is what I would describe this, just sort of the opening and the color tone of what the Wizard of Oz is. But it's this story about this girl who wants to be famous. Excellent movies. There's a third one coming out called Maxine with 3 X's in it, because this is the third movie, and it's continuing the porn trend. It takes place in the 80s, and I'm very, very excited to see how they close out this trilogy. Excellent movies. They're all A24 films. Very, 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 very excited. But yeah, X is fantastic. And Pearl. With that, I've also been watching Hocus Pocus 2. Another fantastic horror sequel. Hocus Pocus 2 rules. If you're a fan of Hocus Pocus, this is a really fun movie to watch. Which we have to force Harv to watch the 2 movies, of course. But if you love the characters from the first one, it's specifically the 3 sisters, you're going to have a blast because they are back. They are prime time. They're here. They're ready to go. And they've never left a step, which is fantastic. There's a wonderful little Easter eggs in the background of things that if you're a massive fan of the series, or now it's a series, fan of the original movie, there's some fun things to point out. Even like cameos that were in the first movie, there's little references to them in this as well, which is super sweet. Definitely recommended. There's a lot more singing in this one. It's like double the fun, essentially. And so, will we get a third one? I'm excited.
100% is Disney.
Yeah. Everyone chill out to go see Hocus Pocus 2.
All right. And that leads us into Werewolf by Night. So I think you and Sly have seen this so far.
I'll let Sly go ahead and talk first. And
Okay.
by the way, I'm going to apologize here. I didn't let you know there was a flashing lights. I guess I was primarily used to it. And I was like, hey, everyone check this out. And then Sly yelled at me. And it was my fault.
So yeah, Mario was like, everybody watch Werewolf by Night. And I was like, all right, I have, an hour. I can knock this out before the podcast.
Yes.
And I was like in it. I had so many great thoughts, so many great feelings. I was very excited. And then we get but like 35 minutes in, and there's a 5-minute sequence that is constant flashing lights the entire 5 minutes. And then it keeps going the next 5 minutes. It's like flickering. It's not like the constant blaring, but they're still flickering all over the screen. And so if you're somebody who is like photosensitive, if you have like light induced migraines, anything like that, like I'm gonna say don't watch it, because by the time you're invested, like you're gonna just want to stick it through. And it was like there was a 10-minute sequence that was just pure torture, like on my brain to try to sit through, and that sucks because I was so in it. I thought it was really interesting how they were playing with like the use of color, like different like archetypes they were having to tell the story. I thought like everything, like I was just like had my teeth sunk in, and then it just like completely ruined the experience for me, that I had to sit through like this 10-minute long sequence of flashing lights that was completely unnecessary. Like it didn't contribute anything to how they're trying to tell the story. It was just like the way it was shot and the way it was lit just like was so intense on the eyes, and it broke my heart because like I really wanted to love it, and and that just ruined it for me.
I guess as someone who doesn't have those sensitivities, or that the thing that like I noticed, that I didn't notice it at all. So when you even say a sequence, I'm not even sure exactly what the sequence was, just because it's just something
It was the start of the transformation.
Got it.
All the way until
okay, I got you. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. If you are a fan of Universal monster movies and you like the color and the design of that, this has a lot of those send ups, specifically the Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney era of stuff. If you are a fan of that, and I think this is something that you'll really, really adore. If you do have those sensibilities, I'll back you up and say there is a sequence where I get that definitely was a lot because they're hiding a lot of things. This is a very small budget project that you can get. They basically got done in an hour, and they're using, I assume, that to cut around things, specifically transformations. And so with that, I can understand the frustration for if you were watching that sequence specifically, because there's also a lot of fast moving in that part as well.
I'm just gonna. Oh, my apologies.
No, and the
Continue,
last
Mario.
thing is, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a very cute creature, and that's all I'll say. And I want to hug him.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it is very like, at least in that type of genre,
Yeah.
to have a lot, like, I'm not trying to specifically downplay the lights, by on all means, I understand.
Yeah.
It was very normal to see stuff like that during those types of films. It is a lot of like trying to play with the light, also that shock factor and also the unease as well of the constant. And I understand, as someone who is also like light sensitive, that it can be a little bit overwhelming. But it was like, at least from even when I watched the trailer, like I saw that there was going to be flashing lights in there. But it's also kind of like, it reminds me a lot of like the original Frankenstein, like Frankenstein's monster. Like, it had a lot of flashing
Yeah.
lights. It had a lot of like consistent, like at least for myself, and that's what I always like contributed as, was like just the constant feeling of unease. And then also, like you mentioned, probably to get the transition, like what are they going to do, because you're very limited on what you can do in regards to like like, because obviously with the reduce, and if not any color, you have to find some way to have that transition between one to another. I personally haven't watched it. I plan on watching it this
Yeah.
weekend, because I like old like horror films and like
It's
old like monster
yeah.
movies. But yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, in that same token, it's like taking those old aesthetics but applying it with the fast motion of the action. So I can see how both that might be jarring. And I think you had to pick a lane. Either had to be so you could see things and therefore not obstructing the view for people that can't see that or have a sensitivity to that, or do the flash, but then please move on quickly from it. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, like I could see using the flashing to like cover up some of the initial moment, right? It was just,
Yeah.
and like I understand the need to use of playing with light, and sometimes can be really well done, and I just like cover my eyes. I watch in like a super well lit room so the contrast isn't too jarring, right? It was just such a constant for that entire time. It was so drawn out that it really got to me.
By the way,
Yeah.
in Avengers Campus right now, Werewolf by Night is hanging out. It's so cool. They have him hanging up on top of the building. It's so awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, that's Werewolf by Night. Harv, you could watch this and have absolutely no need to watch anything else. Maybe.
Werewolf by Day.
Why do you gotta say baby at first?
Because he might show up in Blade, I don't know. Like, I can't lie.
No, I thought you meant like maybe there's something else at the end of it or something like that, where like Iron Man just pops up. He's like, "Yo, you got a werewolf over here?
There's like
I'm assembling a team."
No, I'm not gonna spoil that. But yeah, enjoy it. Just enjoy it.
You got a werewolf. I'm assembling a team. You want to join?
Basically, we need a werewolf.
But that is everything that we were watching. So we're gonna quickly go into what we've been listening. Brady, you said the Coco Melon. What
Hell
are the
yeah.
Coco Melons?
I have two young children. I listen to a lot of kids' music, and that's really all I needed to put in there. I step out of my office, and literally all I hear is "open, shut them, open," like all day. It's just I had to vent about that.
That's pretty much when I go to my my brother's house. That is a lot of cat. What's the cat's name? Peppa Pig.
That is not a.
It's a pig,
That's
not a
not
cat.
It's not a cat. It's not a cat. I don't know why I thought cat for a second.
Because it's pink.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. A lot of
That's the
that.
police getting you for not knowing Peppa Pig.
They're coming for me, man. They're coming for me. Sly, what is the FIC list? FIC list?
It's a podcast, yeah. The Fic List. It's basically a fan fiction book club where two friends will send each other fan fiction based on different tropes or different tags, and they talk about the fan fiction as if it's literature, like a book club. And I've been very much enjoying it. It's really fun to if you're a person who's like either new to like the concept of fandom, or like me have been entrenched in fandom for so long but don't have a lot of people to talk about it with. It's really nice to just like hear people enjoying and appreciating these transformative works as if they're works of art, because a lot of them are, and still being like critical about, you know, dissecting them, rating them, talking about all that good stuff. But yeah, I've been going through the backlog recently and been having such a blast and getting a lot of good fanfic recommendations from them. So it's been a fun time.
Nice. Heck yeah. All right. We're going to jump into the second section now. We're going to jump into the patch notes. I know Fee has been going through a very, very terrible time for the last little while because of.
I'm
Sorry, Sly.
Before we jump into that, I just saw the time. I need to dip before we
That's fine.
transition to the next.
That's
section.
fine. That's 100%
Where can
fine.
people find you on the net?
You can find me everywhere at CycloneMC. You can find me live on Thursdays on TikTok for Thirsty Thursday. You can find me on MC University with the one and only that Mario Rivera. And you can find me on We'll Throw the After Parties on Saturday nights, talking about all things current MCU, media, etc., etc. It's a fun time. Come hang out.
All right.
Heck yes. I appreciate you hanging out, Sly. Thank you so much.
All right. I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
All right, Fee.
Just have Sebastian stand. This is your eulogy to everything that you love. Continue.
I want to talk to you about Stadia because this is a thing that happened last week, and some of us saw the writing on the wall, obviously, right? Because of just how they set up everything.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your thoughts right now when it comes to Stadia?
Well, I would like to first start off with addressing my feelings to the one and only Phil Harrison. You fucking like I can't. I'm like I legitimately I'm livid. This as someone who has been a Stadia fan since day one, I have been consistent. I'm literally like I had a podcast about Stadia. I was on a podcast called Speaking of Stadia with two of my close friends, Jake and Aaron, and it is incredibly disheartening to see a man who, by the way, I saw this fantastic thing online as a heads up, and someone posted, "Has anyone in the gaming industry ever failed so
Upwards?
vertically
Yeah.
than fucking Phil Harrison has?" Because this man fucking was at the seat, at the table, at the fucking PlayStation 3 launch. Fail. We have him at the Xbox One launch. Fail. We put him on Stadia. We're like, okay, dude, you fucking messed up two things. And now everyone's making fun of Google Stadia. But apparently you're here. Man does not tweet in 2 years. I think he tweeted once during the 2-year period. Really exciting to see that. And it was really disheartening to see an entire platform constantly advertise more by its fucking fans than the actual company itself. I'm incredibly disheartened by the entire situation. I feel terrible for the people who worked on Stadia and who were dedicated and the staff who worked there. I feel terrible for the studios who fucking worked with them because they literally were sitting at meetings. Like our last episode of Speaking of Stadia, we actually had a gaming studio sit in our chat and tell us, hey, I had a meeting with Stadia tomorrow at like literally 1 o'clock. It is insanely crazy. Like like I understand people, like I get it. The fucking like gaming sphere is this like going around just like happily just laughing and high-fiving, knowing, saying like, hey, I knew this was gonna happen, ooh hoo hoo. And then like we get messages where people are like, oh, this must fucking suck for you, dude. Or like I get people retweeting or literally tagging me and saying like, hey, like Fiona must be having a terrible week right now. And then yeah, it was a terrible week. It was really shitty for people who really enjoyed cloud gaming, people who've been a fan. There's literally a guy who has 5,000 hours in like Red Dead Redemption gone. January comes out, that game save is not going anywhere. It's staying on Stadia and going down with the ship. And it is just disgusting how like everyone who's involved, including people who worked at Stadia, the studio, and the people who loved it, just feel like, what the fuck happened? Like why did you let this happen? They were literally retweeting people and responding to people in tweets back in July saying like, Stadia is not dead, where everything's gonna be fine. And this was literally from Google Stadia to a person on Twitter named Blue Fire Demon 44. Stadia is not shutting down. Rest assured, we're always working on bringing more and great games to the platform in Stadia Pro. Let us know if you have any other questions. That was July 29th. Stadia died last week and is now 271 of Google's dead ideas. And it sucks. I get it. Like, I understand Stadia was a joke to a lot of people. I personally really loved it. I made some great friends and I was able to be a part of a community that was really supportive. And now Google just shit on it. Thanks. GG's, thumbs up, awesome. And as someone who doesn't have access to a lot of the cloud gaming, Luna is not in Canada. Yes, I have I have Xbox game. Like I have my like I have that. I get it. But it's really shitty.
I read an article today by Rebecca Valentine. She posted something and she talked to like ex employees and stuff like that with Stadia and stuff like that. And apparently working with Stadia was like a really, really good thing. Like they actually had really, really like a good time working with Stadia, with like Stadia employees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that kind of type thing. But there is, like them not telling them about their what their ideas or where they're gonna go was kind of an asshole thing to do.
Mhm.
Of like telling them like we're shutting it down, that like this kind of type thing, and not telling the developers, especially because like a lot of these companies kind of live or breathe off of this stuff, right? Like this
Yep.
is their bread and butter. Like they make games and they make games for a reason, right? And if if the company that you're making a game for is like um is going down, you would want like at least some sort of heads up. Be like, okay, at least a little bit of heads up. Be like, all right, how can we reallocate some like resources and stuff like that, right? So, yeah,
But then when their share prices drop, what's Google going to do?
yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah. No, it's really shitty. And yeah, there was like a lot of people who worked there who just didn't know. They found out when it was tweeted that Stadia was closing down. Like there were people who were just like, wait, like I said, Paratope
Yeah, that's pretty shitty.
was just like, yeah, we had meetings. We had meetings with Stadia. And it was like the studios that were signing on with Stadia to like release their game were doing more media coverage of Stadia than actually Google Stadia. And I'm not like trying to bash anyone and any of the PR that worked at Stadia, but like at the Game Awards last year, there was 3 separate Google advertisements and none of them were for Stadia. They were all for Google Play, which is their app store game thing where you can purchase for like $4.99 a month. You can get a bunch of like mobile
Yeah,
app games on your
it's like
Android
their-
phone.
It's like
their
the Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Apple Arcade. And I was just like the entire time. And I know, like, once again, and I get it, like, I understand Stadia was the butt of the joke, where like people were just like, hey, Fee, like, guess what? We still haven't seen Stadia yet. And then we saw a game that came up, and then I was just like, oh man. And someone, I think it was, I don't remember who said it looked like a good game. And I'm like, yeah, it did. It was a good game. It was great when it was on Stadia for like for the past 6 to 8 months and no one knew about it. It's just
Wayfail.
very weird. Yeah. It's very weird. But yeah, I hope that in the future, they get their shit together because it's for anyone involved. Like
The other thing that I read also was that Stadia started going B2B, so they started going business to business because like their cloud platform was really good,
Yep.
really fucking good. Like that, like the whole way to like play a game with like low latency and stuff like that. That is awesome. The fact, I think that what they said was that they contributed a lot to other gaming companies like Xbox, like Microsoft, PlayStation, and then gobbling all the competition up and starting to buy all these other studios up to the contributing factor of them being like, yeah, we can't be in this space anymore,
Mhm.
or at least be.
They
be
probably gave up
available.
on it way before we ever got wind of it too.
oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like their off ramp was probably like 9 months long.
Yeah,
Like that,
yeah.
I think their off ramp was when they decided to close down their entire gaming studio.
Their internal studios. Yeah,
Yeah, their internal
Yeah.
studios. They bought a studio and were just like, actually, you know what? Fuck it. We're like closing it down. Like we've literally been having this conversation since April of last year.
Yeah.
When they just decided to because once again, the same story comes out where studios were like, hey, I was supposed to have a meeting with Google literally in 2 days or in 1 day, or I literally was in on a meeting like a few hours beforehand and they closed down. Like, what the fuck is happening? And yeah, I think it was really cool to see. Like, we saw that kind of going that they were moving into things such as like white labeling. They did an entire thing with AT&T last year where if it was like a deal where you got a free Batman game when you purchased like a phone with AT&T, and that was all Google Stadia. Rest in peace people who bought their phone during that time, because that's probably going to disappear too because Stadia. But yeah, I could probably talk about this for quite a bit of time. I'm not going to. We're gonna be having I'm gonna be talking about this later on at some point, but yeah, really disappointing. Really sad to see it go, and thank God my Steam Deck came the same week that it fucking closed.
I just wish that they had a different. If they had a different revenue model, I think Google Stadia would have done a lot better. I really think if they did the Netflix and things where they just said, here's $30 a month, you get all the games for free, you don't have to pay for any of the games at all.
Yeah.
I think that would have probably made it so people would be onto Stadia a lot more on there.
Well, they had so many things coming out with like Ubisoft. Like there was so many different they.
But again, you have to pay for those games, right? But if
Well,
they
yeah.
had if you had like a monthly thing of just like here's like $30 or $20 a month, those
Mhm.
Ubisoft games are free with our service as long as you pay $20 a month, and you don't have to pay them separately. You don't have to pay like $60 for those games.
Didn't
at
they
all.
have Uplay Plus or something with Stadia? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, they have Uplay Plus.
Okay, so there was that thing that was like that, but it just
But
wasn't.
it's only for Ubisoft.
Well,
games.
it's just for
only,
Ubisoft.
Only
yeah.
for Ubisoft Central, unless you're getting like basically the Xbox Gold games that you would get basically every month, right? There was a series of games you would get.
Yeah,
a part of
it's
subscription.
Stadia Pro. Yeah,
Um,
Stadia Pro.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like there just wasn't a solid market. I think it's still a smart idea to buy games. Actually, it's up to you if you think it's a smart idea, because you don't own these games at the end of the day. You own the right to use them until that right is revoked, like in this case. But ultimately, I think that having options was a good idea. I just wish that there was maybe a xCloud version or a Game Pass version of the service that allowed you to do that, along with, hey, pay $10, you also get Ubisoft, or hey, kind of like what Luna's doing, where it's like channels that you can buy, which is like a similar but outsidey take of it. But yeah, I don't know. I've made these jokes to Fee. I've laughed at it, but I've always been a fan of the product of Stadia. in use cases, never used it as much. I got the same bundle. I got the 2 controllers. I have the thing that goes in the television. I use it nightly, but I just never put enough investment into that platform because I didn't think the options were right for me. Unlike, say, something like a Game Pass where I had multiple options. I could stream the game if I want, or I can install the game. And I think that's where the cross benefit of the 2 different warring platforms is where I settled on. And I think that's just ultimately how I felt that it landed. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean the idea was there, and like the bones were great, but it's like the meat was just not quite where it needed to go. Like it was like weren't a lot of the games like also, hey, you get this, like it was like Destiny or something like that, where hey, launching this, Stadia gets it 6 months later or something like that. There was something along those lines. I can't remember what they mentioned in the first like few months.
Like that, yeah, for sure. I remember that.
And I mean, really, like, why would I buy it or play on Stadia when I can go on PlayStation and be current? So
yeah.
Well, see, there was a really good opportunity, and it was the fall of 2020, and that was when Cyberpunk was shitting the bed everywhere but on Stadia and on PC. And I'm like, this is it. We got this. Like I had purchased the I purchased Stadia in the spring. I'm like, okay, great. We're going to get that momentum. Stadia is finally in the forefront because and then they're just like, oh my god. And then they had like what, performance anxiety, and then they're just like, oh wait, and then they just tumbled. And they've been tumbling since that particular point. And I as a fan, I can honestly say there's constant conversations that I've had with Aaron and Jake talking about like where could Stadia improve, because obviously they're not doing enough. They're just like, we saw like active events last year, like we saw maybe 1 or 2 and then nothing. And then this year they're like, oh, we're not closing. We're just gonna release some games and you can get Paw Patrol for free, and then like 2 other games that you might be interested in. And like there were some that were like really exciting, but then like there was no back and forth from from Stadia to fans. There was no advertisement. They've literally been advertising their Google Play.
I want to bring that
And
up.
then-
I want to bring that up, Fee,
Yeah.
because one of the biggest promises that got me excited was if I'm watching a fucking YouTuber that is playing such and such game, there would be a link in the corner that I could press, and then the game would just start playing.
Don't even talk about that.
That
because
literally
that
was what
where I
made
went-
me excited. It's such a genius idea. Like, oh, I'm watching Greg Miller talk about fucking whatever game, right? And all of a sudden, the little thing comes up, or the ad that I have to watch pops up. It's like, play this game now. Such a genius idea. Totally misrepresented it and never actually happened. Am I correct?
No, it didn't happen. No.
Fucking dumb,
No.
man.
but
Yeah,
that's also when I believe YouTube wasn't even trying to be part of the gaming space. Like now,
so
like
weird.
YouTube gaming now, I mean, they're investing how many tens of millions of dollars into signing like Tim, Lupo, like all these kinds of guys. Like maybe if Stadia launched this year, we'd be having a totally different conversation in terms of integrations and everything. But that's back when Google didn't give 2 squirts of duck shit about being part of the gaming space. Just videos, just that.
Well, like there's a constant joke, and I've heard this for a very long time. It's just like, man, Stadia would have succeeded if something had happened where a mass group and market had to end up staying in stores and staying at home for long periods of time, where people had like there was an increase in gaming. And it's just like, whether it had been like in 2020 or even now, like I don't think that they would even try. Like if they had never released Google Stadia, I don't even know if they would try to get into the space right now, unless they waited until either we saw YouTube gaming like increase even further, because for some reason like they came at a time where there wasn't as many cloud opportunities in that space. And now there's so many that they might just be like, do we actually do this? Or if they did, they might like, you know what? I might actually backpedal from like 2 seconds ago. I think they would probably put more money into it. But that would be with Google, like YouTube gaming in mind. It would probably have a completely different name, and it would be specifically connected to YouTube gaming. And it wouldn't have been its own separate thing. And I think that would have done really well. Who knows? Maybe they do that. Maybe that's the whole reason why they've killed Stadia the way that they did, because they're like, one, And we knew, like, I realized this. They killed it on September the 29th because you know what starts on the 1st? Oh, Q4. They literally killed it at the end of Q3. They're just like, we can't go into Q4 with this. And then, like, I think it was
And that's why you got
yesterday.
that statement at the beginning of Q3.
Yeah, exactly. And then now we're here, where it's just like the tweets that they were sending out were around the time, like the start of Q3, saying we're not gonna die, and then at the end, they're just like, never mind. It was literally like the last season of Game of Thrones. It was kind of promising at the very beginning, slightly, and then it just like kiboshed and then blew into flames at the end of it. And you're just like, man, that entire arc where everything was like in pitch black because we were like literally in the dark the entire time, and then now you've killed it. And now there goes King's Landing. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones, I've saved you a lot of heartache. But it's just like, just dumb. It's dumb. The end.
Yeah.
So you even go into the second heartache? I don't even know how to go from there. That's
Oh
a
my
whole
God.
other onion of.
What's the second heartache?
What do you think?
What, the Mario thing? Is that the second heartache?
No, he likes
Okay.
his wife.
So on October 2nd, the Try Guys Reddit blew up.
Oh, the
where
Try Guys.
people
Okay,
were
yeah, the Try Guys.
realizing, like, hey, they've been editing out Ned for the past few weeks. Why are they editing out Ned? We wonder why. And then they're wondering, like, oh, wait a second. There are some pictures online from a particular person. There was a few images appearing where Ned was not with his wife, but he was with a lady. And so the TLDR of it, Ned Fulmer from the Try Guys, the I Love My Wife guy from the Try Guys, if you are kind of familiar with them, they're originally from BuzzFeed. They've been essentially a group of 4 people, plus their entire staff for the past 8 years. And he cheated on his wife with an employee. Who we don't know what's happening with her, but they've been editing him out, and now he's been, as of, I think it was Tuesday, they officially announced that he's now no longer part of the Try Guys. I'm not going to go into the full, like, I could do it. I'm just doing the TLDR version. So by Tuesday, they announced that he was leaving, that they have cut ties with him. And then he came on to Instagram with the same background and font exactly and same size and said that I made a mistake, and I lost focus and I had a consensual relationship with one of my colleagues. Idiot. And then proceeded to like
That's
he
not
tried
so-
to fit.
That yeah.
What?
It's just such a crazy
The
situation.
consensual was the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the
Oh,
whole
well,
wife
but
thing.
the thing is, him using consensual was very, very particular
Very loose.
because
For legal
if he doesn't do that, then there's like lawsuits and stuff like involved, and I
Yeah.
think he did that for a particular reason.
Correct. And so I've been I was like, at the time, I was a fan of BuzzFeed. And I'm now since completely not the people who I was interested in, which were like the Unsolved guys who are now Watcher. We have the Try guys who originally started at BF and then now their own thing. But no, it was just a clusterfuck. Like, it wasn't even just like internet personalities. Like, it was literally like the Rolling Stones, New York Times. Everyone's just like, who's this Ned Fuller guy? And why should we care about a Triceratops? Like, it was just a bunch of people being very confused. And also, actually, like, I think it was NBC literally tweeted about, like, they used a Jim and Pam reference from The Office talking about, I accidentally had a consensual relationship, like a workplace relationship. And it's just been a constant clusterfuck. But then yesterday, which this is once again a very TLDR moment, they had the podcast talking about it. And so it was Keith and Zach talking about it for a full hour. And there was also the 5-minute video that had also Eugene Liang, also indicating the fact that, man, if a man could kill someone with a glare, that entire video, if you want to feel incredibly intimidated, That man, I'm terrified. Like
I
sometimes
messaged I messaged my friend Kate and I was like, the guy on the left is really wants to kill somebody right now. Like he literally just he's ready to commit murder and he doesn't care what the consequences are.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was really like I think they're doing a fantastic job with what they're doing. But it was it was a difficult week because I've been
I
a huge
watched I watched the first 13 minutes of this podcast so
Mhm.
far. The
Yeah.
new podcast that they released.
It-
They knew it in what's that?
Does it have 5 advertisements and pre-roll and mid-rolls? That I've
No, it
heard?
had well, I don't know.
I saw it had
I
like
have no
5
idea.
advertisements.
sponsors.
It's 3
It's got a spot.
advertisements.
Yeah, it's, well, they're 100. But you got to 100% put advertisements on that. That's moneymaker right there. That's a moneymaker right there.
Are you watching on
Yeah.
Twitch? Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Are you watching this on Twitch? They apparently they knew at the start of September,
Yeah,
which was,
pretty
and then they
recently.
got in front of it, which is really good for them to get in front of it and make sure all that kind of stuff that they had to do, and their editing team got through it, all that kind of stuff. And apparently, like, I was expecting the Eugene to be on there because like I've never watched any content of the Try Guys other than what Fee and Kate has showed me, and that is it. So I don't know any of these people at all. And apparently now I get their tweets fucking on my like Twitter feed for no reason, and they're just there now at this point. But apparently Eugene doesn't like being on the podcast.
He hates it. He hates
Yeah, he
being on
hates it.
podcasts.
And I was like, that's the only reason I wanted to watch this because I want to see what he thought about all of this.
He cannot legally talk about that out loud.
Because he was ready to kill a motherfucker.
No, it's just like they've spent 8 years building a relationship with this fourth person, and then finding out it was Labor Day weekend. They were in New York, and then they started hearing about this information. It was there was a fan who took a picture with Ned, and then they ended up. It was at a Harry Styles concert for some content. And there's pictures of them afterwards at a club where said employee and Ned were making out.
And
And
what else you
people were
gonna do
like,
at a
"This
Harry
can't-
Styles other than create adultery? You know.
this can't be them." But then people were like, well, this was a picture of the employee earlier on in the day wearing a pink tank top and he wearing like with a white bag and jeans, and then he was wearing this like almost like a my goodness, a paisley type of shirt and white pants, and then it was the exact same outfit, and they were both making out with each other. And thankfully the fan posted this and sent this to the employee's fiance of by the way, who she was in a relationship with for 10 years. They made episodes about said employee's marriage, of like, or at least her getting a wedding dress and her talking about her marriage, like
Okay.
her
wow.
relationship and how she loved this man and how they'd been in a relationship for a very long time where they met when they were younger. They ended up dating. He ended up moving away to go to university.
Real quick, I'm gonna
She
go
ended
to the
up- yeah,
bathroom. Just go ahead, continue your story. Just continue.
yeah, no worries. She ended up going to the same like going to visit him, and they had a long distance relationship. So she's talking about this, she's getting all teary, where they have since removed these episodes completely. You cannot find them on the Try Guys. You can find them online because people have re-uploaded them. But yeah, it's really disheartening. Mind you, I'm gonna be honest, Ned was not my favorite Try Guy. Quite honestly, he's my third. If that actually, I'm gonna be honest, he was probably my fourth because I do like Zach's chaotic energy. Eugene's definitely up on like 100% number one. But Keith is also fantastic.
I have a question for you, Brady. Have you watched the Try Guys?
No, I'm looking this up, and yes, Eugene definitely looks pissed on the left.
Oh, he looks like he's about
Yeah.
to fuck people up. Like he's ready. He's
Like I
ready
would
to
cross the
brawl
street
out.
instead of walk across this guy on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was scared. I was like, I thought he's like he's about to like get to the camera. He's like, yo, fucking Ned, meet me at this park. I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
Yeah, like he's done. Like his resting bitch face in the first 10th of a frame scares me.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I just want to say the way that they handled it and stuff like that, they handled it in a very, very good way. I think they nailed it.
Yeah, they nailed it, and they had to because it's not just them. They have an entire staff
Yeah.
that they now need to like they're concerned about. And they talked about it on the podcast. Miles is one of their employees. He was also the person who like he's essentially
Producer, right?
yeah, he's their Kevin when it comes to the podcast. So he sits there, he's the one mixing, he's the one and he has an entire segment, which by the way, have fun with his segment because it's fantastic. But it's just he was even talking about on his side where he's just like, we knew something was happening. We were putting the pieces together. But honestly, they're like the entire vibe was still pretty positive, but it still really sucked. And then when all this news came out, which by the way, they even joked about the fact that they're like, you know who should like be solving all like the mysteries and crimes? It should be teenagers on the internet because holy shit, they instantly knew. They're like, we can see this little clip where it's been edited out. We see like a part of a sleeve. We see that like this particular photo was done with this. They found like there was Keith Habersberger, one of the Try Guys, he has this thing called Eat the Menu, which by the way, top-notch content. You should definitely watch it. And they went to Las Vegas and he talks about the fact that this is going to be the longest Eat the Menu ever. It is not. It's actually probably the third longest because it's 50 minutes. The longest is like an hour and 16 minutes. Another one's like an hour or so. And it's because they had to cut out specific parts because certain people were on said episode. So it then became not the longest episode because they had to cut out probably Ned's section. Because people were like, okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to Las Vegas, if you go to Caesar's like buffet, there's an entire section where they have like carved meats, and there was not the carved meats in that particular episode. And obviously they would go over it. So this probably was a section that Ned was on, and so was the employee. Also, there was a photo with another fan who was standing with them, and those two people were actually there at Las Vegas that weekend. So obviously, that was why they cut them out. And there's another reason why we think that there was something happening between said employee and Ned. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like, and they were just like, this is what happened this particular weekend, and this is why they weren't on that particular scene. And
This
is
happens. Yeah,
And
this
like,
happens so much when it comes to like big groups and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It's like people start dissecting everything. You were also muted.
Most groups like they have a situation like this. I mean, I've gone through it through Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth a few times. You know,
bad.
there's some stuff, you know, that's
Yeah.
just it's this relationship that we have with the streamer, and I feel like over the last specifically the last 2 years, because that's literally all we have, is that we start developing these relationships that are extremely parasocial and very much involved in lives, and then we grow these attachments. And I think this is why it's making such a impact on people, because and this is why I think when I first saw the video of them reacting to it, I think my first response was like, this seems a little extreme, because the way that they talk about it, it's like a murder happened. But at the same time, it's really the ending of a relationship with the fans in a lot of ways. And when you think of it that direction, it makes sense. And like I said, I've gone through this in certain instances with people, and yeah, it can be a lot for sure. And you know, I feel sorry for all the fans that are having to deal with this. It gets better.
Yeah.
The content may change, but ultimately, it's better
it's gonna be
to cut it out.
Yeah.
Also, random aside, Ned, you're stupid. Ariel's a fucking gem. If you don't know who Ariel is, she is one, smoking. Two, she's she's fantastic. She was a part of an entire podcast series that they had called The Try Wives. She was also You Can Come Sit With Us, where like the female, like the women of the Try Guys and also other people
Yeah.
that they had coming in and out sat down and had a podcast, and they talked about just like things that they've done and like their life experiences and stuff like that. And it is she was fantastic. She's taking obviously a do not know when this is going to continue like hiatus. She's on a complete hiatus of obviously the shows, and she's obviously welcome back, but she's on hiatus, and I don't blame her. But yeah, dumb, stupid. Why? No reason.
The one
This is
go ahead.
sorry.
No, the
No,
one
no,
thing
you
I
go
was
first. 'Cause I would have transitioned out.
this the one thing I would recommend also watching is how people think like how could this possibly happen and what's the mentality of him to even do this. Apparently, it's a lot to do with the culture built up at BuzzFeed. There's a great video you can watch right now on YouTube from Will Neff, who of course
Yep.
was an intern over there. And he talks about the whole story of his entire internship, including stories about Ned that don't make him seem like a great person. And so, really, if you want an inside look at the culture at BuzzFeed and why people feel like he felt like he could get away with it, that's a great watch. Will Neff is a fantastic storyteller and tells a really interesting story of why I never watched BuzzFeed.
Yeah, I've never watched the Try Guys content ever. This is probably the only Try Guys thing I'm gonna probably ever end up watching is
Yeah.
the podcast. But it's good that they came around for it. They did what they need to do. We're gonna outro out here, but I just want to say one thing before we start going around the horn. The Mario movie looks great. I'm very, very excited for it. Thumbs up.
Jack
Thumbs up.
Black sounds amazing.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have problems with Chris Pratt. I totally understand it. But the movie itself looks fucking awesome, and I'm gonna go watch it 100%.
100%.
Like, literally, name me one voice actor you think would actually make a good Mario if we were going to go in a different direction.
Christopher Walken, clearly. James Gandolfini.
Yeah,
I don't know who would be
Joe
a good-
Pesci.
Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci would be amazing.
Just take voice lines from not from The Wire, from The Sopranos, and just start fucking mixing it.
People are already doing it, and it's fucking great. Anyways,
Do
continue.
you know who? I just want to say, do you know who would be great at voice acting Mario? Charles Martinet. If you don't know who that is,
Nah, I don't think he could carry a 2-hour movie.
He can't
I
make-
really don't think he can.
He can't make TikTok jokes in the Mario movie, you know? It's gonna sound weird.
I agree with he is like the voice actor of Mario, but like I don't think he can carry a 2-hour because I would be
Okay.
annoyed as fuck if I heard that for 2 hours, dude.
I should have just said yes.
That's I'm sorry. That's where I'm at when it comes to that.
Well, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna lead it out with literally more people know who Mario is than people know who Chris Pratt is, and they didn't need to pay him
Fair.
hundo
Fair.
bucks to
What
come
are-
in and voice act it.
No, I agree. I agree that the Mario voice is not great. Like it is what it is, but I still think the movie looks fucking awesome.
No, the movie
I'm
looks
really excited.
fantastic. I
Yeah.
fucking like Lucas sat me down and he's just like, you need to watch this. And I'm like, I don't want to. And he's just like, just watch it until it cuts to Mario. And then you don't need to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I don't understand what you're fucking talking about. By the way, fantastic. Everyone else, fantastic. The entire premise looks fantastic. Like it looks phenomenal. They put a ton of work and like effort. I just think that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of voice actors who could have done this 10 times better than Chris Pratt could.
Troy Baker.
Jay Baruchel.
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker.
Oh my god, yes, get Troy Baker. Literally get anyone
Matthew
else.
Mercer.
Yeah.
I will do it. I'll do it. You know what? Nintendo just
No.
gave
I
it to
could
me.
Peter
do it.
Dinklage.
I literally could do it. My name is Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's petition. Let's do like
It's a
ask,
me,
like,
Mario. See, I can do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
no, just
All
do the
right.
Sonic.
All right, let's start outroing this. How you doing, Mario? How you doing?
Fuck, my foot hurts real bad, and I gotta stand up. I'm good. My name is Mario Rivera. Of course, you can find me at that Mario Rivera on the Twitters. You can also find me over here at this podcast, but you can also on this YouTube channel, youtube.com/pointinprogress. You can also find the MC University, which is another podcast I do with Sly, fantastic, and Model Citizen Show, which is our monthly show that is having a lot of fun with some friends just like this. I did want to preface, we didn't say this up front, but going forward, this podcast is going to go live on YouTube now. We decided to move the podcast to YouTube, but any live streams or any watch-alongs, we're going to continue to do that on Twitch. So we'll probably have a tweet about that. Description's down below. Please follow us.
Fee, where can people find you?
People can find me here over like here at Point in Progress, the YouTube channel and on Twitch, especially since we're going to be playing some spooky games all throughout October. So please make sure to check out our schedule that I plan on making this weekend. So by this time you'll see it. Anywho, so there's that. You can also find me sometimes over at twitch.tv/Ceranics. And I don't know what's going to happen, but at some point we're going to be recording an entire episode of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions about the complete life and death of Stadia over at the Game Source Network for the last episode of Speaking of Stadia.
Vikings general for that one. I'm gonna outro myself, and then Brady, I'm gonna get you to outro right at the very end because I want you to get
Man.
all the spotlight at the very end. You can find me here on Point in Progress, twitch.tv/Point in Progress. If you want to watch a lot of our Let's Play, or not our Let's Plays, like our live streams, our watch alongs, youtube.com/Point in Progress. If you guys want to watch the podcast live, it also goes live over there on Tuesdays as well. Other than that, that's really it. We put a lot of videos up. We're trying to put a lot more videos up on youtube.com/Point in Progress with the different podcasts, MCU, Model Citizen Club, Fantasy in Progress, and the Point in Progress podcast. And then we're going to be doing October 12th. If you're watching this after the fact, October 12th, we're doing a
Evil Dead.
kind of Evil Dead playthrough, not playthrough, but like an Evil Dead stream
Yeah.
on twitch.tv/Point in Progress with me, Mario, Fee, and Frank. We're gonna be playing that game for a couple hours. But yeah, you can find me here on Point in Progress. Brady, I'm gonna let you have the rest of the time of the podcast. Where can everybody find you? What do you got coming up? Let everybody know.
3 more hours.
Find me at FargoBrady on everything. Add me at FargoBrady on every gaming platform you could freaking imagine. You can also see me on youtube.com/FargoBrady. I basically abandoned my Twitch channel because I think Twitch is going to be a cesspool in about 5 years. So yeah, I do a lot of Destiny videos, Warzone, Fortnite. I'm going to be doing a lot of WoW Dragonflight. So yeah, I do a lot of live streams over there. And you can find me basically, doing almost any form of content on that side. October 15th, as of posting this coming Saturday at 10 a.m. Central, I will be doing a 9-hour extra live stream. Every dollar raised goes to Sanford Children's Hospital here in Fargo. So yeah, huge cause. That's very important to me, mainly because I got started with this thinking, I was blessed with a pretty healthy son. A lot of people aren't so lucky. So when I started doing this, I really just thought I would help the hospital. But about a year and a half ago, my baby girl decided she wanted to come out 7 weeks early. And she had to spend about 2 weeks in the NICU, and I got to see exactly how awesome this children's hospital is. So that kind of reinvigorated everything. So yeah, if you want to join us on youtube.com/FargoBrady at 10 o'clock Central next Saturday on the 15th. Yeah, that's basically what we're going to do. We have one chip challenges. We got a bunch of weird other random shit that we're doing, but it's going to be a good time. And yeah, that's about it.
How much for to braid your beard?
Well, I shaved it. Oh, okay. So, okay. So last year I had an extra like 3-4 inches, and I just randomly threw it out there. Hey, $1,000 donation, and I'll shave my beard. Little did I know my mom planned on donating, and this lady hit me with $1,000 dono about 15 minutes later, and I looked like a fucking thumb.
Yeah.
It was like, if you look on my Twitter, you scroll back to like last November,
Incredible.
it's terrible. And then of course it's Fargo in November, so we went out that night, and it's like 40-mile-an-hour winds, and my face is just like an icicle. Like, it's terrible.
That's what I do for my end. Like, my last goal is always like, if I hit my goal of like 3,000 or whatever it is, it's shaving my beard on stream. And for some reason, every year we fucking hit it, and I have to shave my beard. So every time when like November hits, I'm always beardless all the time.
But at least you have hair. Like, what the fuck I'm gonna do? Like, seriously.
True. I do have the hair.
Yeah. Your beard and the hair. I'm just a beard. So it's yeah. But like I said, this is like my 5th or 6th year doing it. I don't effing know at this point. But yeah, we just keep it going. I think 3 years ago is really when we turned a corner, because I don't know if you know this, Andrea Renee is from Fargo. So I got her, I got Joey, Rihanna, and Maria all to come to Fargo, and we did like a stream. We raised like $5,000, and then of course 2020 hit. But that was really weird because apparently all people want to do is just donate money, because we hit like $55,000 that year, and it was just ridiculous. And then last year was like 30 some. This year we're on track for at least meeting last year, so hopefully we can do that. A big tip for a lot of extra lifers out there. If you're kind of new to all this, you don't have to have a big online following. If you have like contacts people like people you know in like the general area. Hey, what I started off doing was I would go to these organizations. I know like some bank presidents in Fargo and stuff like that. So I would be like, hey, do you, instead of asking for like a flat out donation, do you guys want to match this if we hit this level? So I would go to like 5, 6, 7 different businesses. I would donate my part. My employer would match that. And then I would go to these people and be like, oh, hey, we've already raised $10,000. You know, hey, give me your matches. Like that's how I started doing this. And that's how I've kind of snowballed everything without having a huge active online platform. So, I mean, just figure out what works for you. If you know people, you know people. If not, do what you can. So
That's actually a good idea. That's a really, really good idea. Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
because a lot of people put their extra life into like what they do for their community, for their streaming community and stuff, and they don't put it into like their real life situation as well. Because a lot of donations can't come that way.
Exactly. So if you go to like, if you know, hey, I know the owner of a bar, a manager at this, like, hey, don't ask them for a flat out donation. Like, go like it's like the 80s with like a walkathon type thing. Hey, do you want to match this if we get to this point? And then that's how you get them in. Have them sign a little agreement, and then boom, you know, you're at 30, 50,000, depending on how big they say they'll match.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool. That's really cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's been awesome having you, Brady. This has been an awesome podcast. We appreciate you coming on. I know it's a long podcast, usually longer than a lot of other podcasts.
Oh, I don't care.
But yeah, we because there's so many of us that we kind of have like this is the only way we could do this.
And we were pent up for the last month too, so there's a lot of stuff we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, true. But thank you guys so much for watching episode 57 of the Point in Progress podcast, your favorite cave dwelling podcast. So if you're in a cave and you're dwelling in it, all you got to do is just put it on Point in Progress.
What
and
is
you
the
can
lore
find-
of the show? FEMA, caves, bears. What is happening? God.
One day, you know what? We're treating it like the MCU. One day, it's all gonna.
Hey,
fit
if
together.
you listen to all 57
all-
episodes, there's lore. If you really, yeah, Justin.
You're gonna have a Charlie Day meme with like Mario's head over there
We've
and
had
Beck over
Justin
here.
Bieber, Justin Trudeau show up on this show. Like it's insane.
God, imagine having Justin Trudeau on the show. If you
Again.
no, imagine having a actual Justin Trudeau on the show.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Halifax this week, so man, what a
Missed opportunity. Yeah,
Missed
missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely wasn't here to talk about Hurricane Fiona at all. Or
No.
yeah, no, absolutely not.
Oh no. He was there for podcast. Again, guys, you can watch this podcast on twitch.tv/Point in Progress, but we're gonna be moving it to youtube.com/Point in Progress. You can watch all of our live streams and watch alongs and stuff like that all on twitch.tv/Point in Progress. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button. If you guys like the content on the channel, please hit that sub button. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next week, progress has been made.